We got some families that we're about to meet that are holding out hope in regards to being able to find their loved ones. Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona. His overturned Jeep and belongings were found in a nearby ravine. His parents, David and Melissa, need our help. We wanted to give you an opportunity to tell us about your son, Daniel.
I had a moment when you showed me his picture.
Yeah.
Just looking at him, it's so difficult. You want to talk to him, you want to hug him. Daniel is my hero. Just reading his text, telling me how he feels about me, leaving the very last message on June the 21st, telling me how he loves me.
Hey, Mama. I just wanted to see how you're doing. I just want to let you know I love you. And, yeah, we could talk later. All right, bye.
Oh, wow. And that was the last time that you heard from him?
Yeah.
David, when was it that you guys decided that something was not right?
On June 23rd, I received a phone call from my daughter. She alerted me that one of the co-workers came by and was searching for Daniel. We weren't getting any answers to his phone. They said he was last seen at his job site roughly 9 o'clock that morning. And I just knew immediately that things wasn't right because Daniel, he would never, ever not answer his phone, first of all. And the second thing is not tell us where he was going.
Right. I think that's really important because the idea of patterns, I'm really big on that, even with my children. What David is basically saying is that a pattern was broken. And so he saw immediately that this is out of character.
Right.
Something is wrong.
And that's so important for police officers when they start to investigate these cases. One of the first questions they'll ask is was this normal? Was this something he would do? Because the thought is, maybe they're just not calling you. There is this tendency to say, why don't you just give it a little bit?
Right.
You might hear from him. He might come around.
Yeah.
But it's got to be, this is not like my son.
Yeah.
And you are the one who knows your child.
Right.
To have them understand, no, this, what's out of the ordinary.
David, is it my understanding that you've relocated to Arizona to lead the search for your son?
Upon putting in a missing person report with the Buckeye Police Department, they said they was gonna go out, search the next following morning because it was too dark when I called in. And once that morning came and they counseled and alerted me that being that my son is grown, he's an adult, he's allowed to leave. When I heard that, that was unacceptable to me, so I grabbed everything I could and I just started driving. I made it out here and I've been here since June the 26th.
Got it.
Searching for my son. We're gonna find Daniel.
Was it difficult to get the police to just take seriously that Daniel was missing?
Yes, even from the first day, you know, we know our son, and you know, it's very out of character. Things didn't add up. It was very difficult just to even get movement. They did a first search for my son, which was 3 days later. I haven't gotten any support from the police department. I mean, nothing. We have been fortunate to get our own cadaver dogs and search dogs, even the aircraft, drones. We've been on it. The searches, full of volunteers. The difficulty has been getting media attention. And I stayed up many nights emailing, texting, calling, visiting, whatever it took just to get something going. It lasted for 3 months. 3 hard months.
David, you actually hired your own investigator, right? You're saying the word we, but this does not include the police. You've had to do this independently, right?
That's correct. That is correct. I say we because everybody who come out to the searches, we're family. That's my extended family.
That's right.
Yeah.
We put long hours out there in 118-degree weather. They're dedicated people. The things that I feel, and my son's mother is the things that the people that serve and protect should be doing. We found ourselves doing it.
When you talk about the searches that you've been putting together, how were you able to do that?
I didn't know anyone when I hit the ground here. I didn't know how to get involved. I never organized anything in my life.
Right.
So I just reached out to any and everybody I could. What I was trying to do is find people who actually knew about the desert conditions.
Got it.
When you found the car, all his belongings were inside the car, correct?
Well, it's a rancher found our son's vehicle, and that was on July the 19th. When I received the call, it was 9 o'clock that morning, the next day after they found my son's vehicle. The first thing the detective said to me was, "Hey, Mr. Robinson, we found your son's vehicle." That just took my breath away, thinking that maybe I'll hear something else horrible. I'm going to tell his mother. I said, "Okay, when was it found?" And he told me it was found the day before. And I asked him, "Okay, why you guys didn't call me?" "We didn't want to disturb your sleep." That made me uptight. My son's clothing, everything he had on his body was about 3 feet away from the vehicle in a pile. His safety vest that he wore the day he went missing was another foot away. His cell phone was in the vehicle, work computer. His wallet was in the pants pocket in the pile. I know that's difficult for his mother to hear all this. Excuse me, give him a moment. One of the things that struck me the most, my son is only 24 years old.
Yeah.
They're attached to their phones. I know they are.
Right.
And I couldn't see him leaving that behind.
Exactly.
What did the police tell you as to explain? Did they offer any theory of the case whatsoever to try to find him?
Yes, they gave me not too great of a theory. When I got out there, the detective gave me a briefing. He pointed out my son's clothing on the ground. He pointed out the vehicle's damage. He said that the vehicle flipped and rolled and landed on the side. He told me that there was no blood found in the vehicle, indicating our son wasn't injured. He said that he was wearing a seatbelt because of the way the seatbelt locked, so he knew the seatbelt was on. All the airbags were deployed. He told me that my son obviously escaped out of the sunroof and that he must have had a severe head injury. He was delusional, decided to take his clothes off because head injury make him hot or something or the other. And he just walked off and probably rested under a tree somewhere. And that was his theory.
I think we're all dumbfounded for a moment, trying to think about all the things that do not add up
Right.
about this. But I keep looking at Mom.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about what every mother sees talking about their child. I know he's 24 years old, but you don't see a 24-year-old. You see the little baby, and you're hearing these things. What are you thinking?
When his father first told me that the vehicle was found, and then they started talking about cadaver dogs, I just screamed. And I just couldn't believe this can't be real. I was feeling like I'm in a nightmare.
Yeah.
I was on the floor. I cried. His father kept saying, "Alyssa, it's going to be all right. I'm going to find our son. I'm going to find him. I promise you, I'm going to find him." But I said, I just want him back. I didn't even know what to pray or how to pray.
Yeah.
And then I had to just change that prayer and say, I want him back safe. The thoughts are running rampant in my mind. I'm thinking the very worst thing, that someone is hurting my son. I'm seeing him crying out for me. I'm just seeing these things that he's just really needing to say, help me. I started dreaming about him, saying, Mama, I'm here. Mama, I'm over here. Hurry up. And I'm saying, Daniel, please listen to me. I'm talking to you. And it's saying, Mom, I'm here.
Yeah.
Mom, I'm here. I need to find him. And it was heartbreaking to just go to his apartment.
Yeah.
Very, very heartbreaking. I had to pick up the little hairs off the floor and put them in a Ziploc bag because at least I knew that was a part of him.
Right.
That's all I had.
But one thing I want to really say too, Daniel is definitely not a person that's depressed and down. He's high-spirited, have dreams, and he's a contributor to society. Daniel's a scientist, very smart, very sharp, and we just want him back home. We just want him back here with us.
We want to just give our prayers to you, our love, and, you know, we are wishing you the best in this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Dawn in the desert, a clear and chilly November morning. We are near the city of Buckeye, Arizona, where a caravan of cars is arriving, carrying volunteers. For the next several hours, they will comb this unforgiving landscape, looking for a young man who's been missing since June of 2021. His name, Daniel Robinson. And leading the search, not law enforcement, but Daniel's father, David.
Where is everybody located?
For 9 painful months, Robinson and his team of volunteers, people he now calls family,
This is my family.
have been desperately trying to find any trace of his son.
He's a very bright, intelligent geologist. Anything that Daniel wanted to do, he would do it. He's born without a right hand, but he found ways to master anything that he wanted to do. You know, he's a geologist. Of course, Arizona is the ideal place.
In June 2021, Daniel had just begun a job doing field work at a desert well site. He'd always kept in close touch with his family back home in South Carolina. But around this time, Daniel suddenly stopped calling.
I tried to call his phone constantly. He wasn't answering.
In fact, the whole family tried calling Daniel. Nothing. His sister in Arizona checked his apartment. No one there.
I was worried. I didn't want to panic because I didn't want my children to panic, so that's when I decided to call the Buckeye Police Department.
The Buckeye PD is a small one with barely more than 100 officers. Nevertheless, they began investigating by first checking the area where Daniel was reportedly working. Nothing turned up. 2 days later, David Robinson, desperate for answers, felt he had to take matters into his own hands.
I just grabbed everything I had, threw it in my vehicle, and just started driving. And I made it here. I came straight through. Left South Carolina, came straight to Arizona.
Some 45 hours later, David arrived in this daunting desert, exhausted, but in a panic. His son was out here somewhere, all alone, facing 3-digit heat, rattlesnakes, and not a soul or building in sight. So on his own, David started searching and soon made his way to the well site where his son was last seen.
This is where it all began. This is where the whole narrative started. My son drove off into the desert and vanished, maybe from here.
David then met with a witness, a co-worker of his son's, who said he saw Daniel at the well the day he disappeared.
He did tell me that my son seemed like he was looking out into space somewhere, looking out into the desert terrain, kind of staring off, and was acting really quiet. And then he told me my son just kind of waved off to him, got in his vehicle, and drove off.
Where he went and what exactly happened next, no one seems to know. Soon after that meeting, David began recruiting volunteers to help him search the sprawling Sonoran Desert. Every Saturday for the next few weeks, they scoured this barren, treacherous landscape. They have not found Daniel. Then in July 2021, a break, a big one. A local rancher found Daniel's Jeep rolled over in a remote ravine.
When I first saw that crash site, I was really devastated. This place I had to go to and see for myself.
The airbags had deployed. The sunroof looked as if it had been kicked open, perhaps used as an escape route. And this was odd. Outside the Jeep were what appeared to be Daniel's clothes and work boots, his wallet still in his blue jeans. Inside the vehicle was his college ID, laptop, keys, cell phone, and plenty of bottled water. To help make sense of this mystery, David hired private investigator Jeff McGrath, an expert at reconstructing accidents. He has a theory of what might have happened.
There was nothing along this route that the vehicle took into that bottom ravine that matched the damage. It's telling me the vehicle was probably crashed somewhere else. Either moved here or it was continued to be driven, and this was its final stop. And whether somebody stole it in joyriding, whether Daniel was in it, but it tells me something happened somewhere else.
The Jeep has since been moved to a secured location for further analysis, but plenty of evidence still remains of the crash.
I don't believe it was enough to kill, no. The airbags had enough force to do some damage. They strike you in the face, and they come out with a lot of force, and it could cause a concussion, but there wasn't enough violence here in this crash to cause a lethal.
That suggests Daniel survived and was perhaps disoriented and maybe wandered aimlessly into the desert. Could this be other than accidental? Could foul play be involved in Daniel's disappearance? It's something McGrath and David have not ruled out. It's something police have examined too. To this point, there is no evidence of that. None at all. Whatever happened back in June of 2021 has David Robinson now bracing for the worst.
It's hard to say you're searching for your son walking around the desert with no clothing, no shoes. So I had to mentally put it in my head that I'm doing a recovery. So I need to go find every spot I can out here to rescue my son. He may be hurt, injured, somewhere stuck, whatever. I need to find my son. Yeah, I found something up here interesting.
David is hoping to get more attention, help, and resources from the Buckeye PD, which says this is still an ongoing investigation, although so far not a criminal one.
Okay, so we're still working this side.
He's also tried to enlist federal help. In the fall of 2021, the Buckeye PD briefed the FBI and asked for their assistance. The Bureau recently told us they're still assessing the case. So far, they have not gotten involved. So for now, David Robinson and his team of volunteers continue to search.
I really have faith that somehow God can bless that he's alive somewhere, and I hope so. I am not stopping. He's my son. He's my responsibility. He's a fighter. He never give up on anything. I definitely won't give up on him.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. And I'm still searching for him. Thank you for coming in on this Q&A this morning. My name is David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Robinson. He went missing in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona on June the 23rd of last year, 2021. He's graduated from the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina. After graduation, he immediately came out to Phoenix, Arizona, where he started his career in geology. He's worked for a company called Matrix Southwest Groundwater, Matrix New World. For them, he worked as a field geologist, also called a hydrogeologist. And what he does is he go to well sites to check the viability of the well sites, to make sure that those wells are producing the amount of water that they need to produce for a community. Before a community come in, how much water comes out of that well. You have to produce at least 100 years of water for a community by law here in Arizona, most communities. And also to check, like I said, the viability of the well, the rock settlements and things like that, whatever's coming out of that well, water-wise. Again, he was out there on June the 23rd. He visited 2 well sites. The first well site he completed, did some little logs that he needed to take care of. And from that point, he went to Sun Valley Parkway near the Cactus Road junction, where he met a worker from a company called Weber. He and the worker talked on the roadside for a brief second, and my son followed that worker into the well site. He had to go at least a mile or so down west, and then another mile or so, almost 2 miles north to get to this well site, where my son had a brief conversation with him for about 10 minutes. And from that point, that's where the narrative began. According to that worker, my son waved off after a brief 10 minutes of conversation with him, waved off, and was never ever seen again. Almost 30 days later, on July the 19th, my son's vehicle right here, that Jeep Renegade, 2017 Renegade, was found. His Renegade was found almost 3 miles, a little over 3 miles, or somewhere around that area, southwest from the location of the well, farther out into the remote area of the desert, and is in a 20-foot ravine. Outside of that ravine, you can see right here behind me is my son's clothing in a pile. Everything he's wearing, from his underwear, his socks, you name it, everything's on the ground. And his wallet was in his pet's pocket, his cell phone was in the vehicle, and work computer and things like that. So the theory of the local police, after the vehicle was found by that rancher, it was a rancher that found the vehicle. They believe that he was wearing the seatbelt. They also believe that he didn't get any injuries at all, but at the same time, he had severe brain injury, and he kicked his way out to the vehicle, and because brain injuries, head injury like that would make you shred your clothes. They believe he shredded his clothes for that reason. He walked off into the desert undressed, where he rested under a tree because he thought it was hot. So those are some of the, it's not verbatim, but that's some of the theories that they have. Also believe that he may just did all of this to get away from his family, join a monastery, become a monk. So of course I had started my own investigation from day one when I got here on June 26th. And the reason why I left so quickly and the manner that I did is because the day that my son was missing, when I realized that it was actually the desert, they couldn't get out into the desert at night, but the next morning they said it's going to have a helicopter go out. I was really relieved. But at the same time, an hour later, called me back and said that that flight was unauthorized. And it was unauthorized because my son is a grown man, and they assume that he had the right to leave if he want to. The assumption at the beginning is that my son decided that he just wanted to leave the well site. So when I heard that, that's unacceptable to me. I know how my son thinks. I know that he's a more intelligent guy than that. Then he wouldn't have came to work in the first place. All that was in my mind, but it's just the fact that at that time I was thinking, hey, you're not going to go look for my son. I had to go do it myself. So that prompted me to move faster. And I got out here to Arizona, where I've been searching and provided my own investigation since. The reason why I had to provide my own investigation, because first of all, I'm a father. I'm asked all the questions I can. I was willing to work with the department at the time, and that's what I was doing until this vehicle showed up. Once this vehicle showed up, I heard their theories, got my own investigator. He found the evidence using the data that they pulled from the vehicle, and also some other evidence from the vehicle itself that he physically seen and touched. also the clothing, examine the clothing to the infotainment system in the vehicle, things like that. So after that, he did all of that. We turned all those evidence over to the Buckeye Police Department, where they shut down. They decided not to talk to us anymore because of that, because our evidence didn't match their theory. And so once that happened, they shut down. I haven't really talked to them to this day. But, that's their theory. They want to stick by it. They went so far as getting their own investigator to bolster their theory. Even though that investigator they hired have never even seen the vehicle, never touched it, never, physically seen it at all, and he never physically touched it, never examined the clothing. I would doubt if he even been out on the scene, but made a full report about how he feel that their story, their theory works, So again, thank you all for coming out to the Q&A this morning. Again, I'm David Robinson. I'm Daniel's father. And, I'm here to answer any questions that you may have. I'm here also to try to bring some awareness to my son's case. I'm here to do everything I can to get my son's name out there and find my son. So, as you see on the bottom of the screen, you guys can call the anonymous tip line that I have here. It's a paid service. You got people that will answer your call 24 hours, 7 days a week. And if you don't, like I say, want to ever talk to somebody, I tell you this every morning. Same thing. If you don't want to talk to a person, you can also text the word tip to that number, and also the form will come up, and you can remain anonymous. So there's different ways you can do it. If you guys don't want to talk to even the tip line, I want to do it that way, you want to give direct to me, you can do that at the 803-200-7994 number at the bottom of the screen. However, I tell you, that's not an anonymous tip line. That's just my cell phone. It's a public cell phone. So if you guys even just want to leave a message, just want to say hello. If you have an opinion about something or whatever the case may be, that's what that number is for. Again, the tip line is for just the tips. Anything else fails, you guys can get all that information from pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. So always, look at pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You can get all the information you need. From how you can help to, donate to sign the petition. So it's all kind of things there. Again, I have a YouTube channel. This YouTube channel, Please Help Find Daniel. You can find out ways how to use that website. So again, if you guys can do that, I really appreciate that. Okay, I have also wanted to put out that this next search will not be this weekend. I will have a desert search out there this weekend. I'm doing it every other week. It'll be next weekend, not the weekend coming, at 6:45. 6:45 a.m. And it will be on I believe the 16th of April. So you guys can come out there and support in everywhere you can. I know it's been 9 months since my son been missing, and that's more of the reasons to look. What we're doing, specializing more so, is in line searches. Line searches is very detailed search, and I need that searching going on. Like I said, in combat, I've been in war, and one thing that the military, I can speak for the Army, and I'm sure that's for every other branch, but we don't leave a fallen comrade. We don't leave anybody behind. My son is my son, and I'm not leaving him behind. So I'm trying to find any way I can to go out there and look. I have to be honest. My desert search is designed now as a recovery, not a rescue mission anymore. That has long stopped from being a rescue mission to a recovery. If my son is out there, then I need to recover him and bring him back home to his family. And that takes manpower. That takes people like yourself to be on the ground and help me look. That's a big, vast area. You guys can look at some of the videos. You can tell how wide range that desert can be and how detailed it can be. If people who've been on the ground, they can tell you there's a lot of ravines, a lot of valleys, and here ups and downs, and it's not a flat land. So it's a lot of areas that need to be like detailed search, and it takes eyes on the ground and things like that. So I really appreciate you guys can come out and help in that effort. But I can tell you also that the flyer distributions will be every week. So I'm not stopping that. You guys want to come to East McDowell Road here in Phoenix and grab some of those flyers. If you want to go out with me and pass them out, we can do that. That depends on the numbers of people that show up if I'm going out and pass them out in that manner. I'm always passing out flyers everywhere I go, but if you guys want to go out and with me in those areas around the Phoenix area, Tempe, and some of the other areas, you can come out with the volunteers and we can pass those flyers out. So also, if you can't be here in person and help out, get those flyers out. For instance, I want to pass out flyers in my hometown. I live in Colorado. I live in North Carolina, wherever the case may be. You can also go to the tab up there. There's a PDF on pleasehelpfinddanny.com where you can make flyers yourself. I ask you guys if you can make it as a postcard size. But if you don't want to do that, you can also text me on that number, and I have someone mail those flyers out to you. So thank you so much for that. If you guys want to help in that way. Also, the last thing I want to say, thank you for supporting. You all coming out and support this whole effort. Without you, I wouldn't even have a Q&A. Without you, I wouldn't even have a search. I wouldn't be here in Arizona. I take that back. I would be here in Arizona because I'm here to look for my son, and that wouldn't have been nothing to stop me from doing this. But I'm grateful you guys are helping me to stay here in Arizona, making it a lot easier and providing, just desert searches and stuff the way it's been going, and also the city, these banners and things like that. You guys providing that by your help. So I'm really grateful for all of that. Thank you, Tub, for being here this morning. I know you can't be here this morning, but thank you for coming by just to speak. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Jennifer, for being here this morning. Coming out from YouTube. Thank you. Support with Steffa. If I say your name correctly, thank you. I really appreciate it. And thank you. I really appreciate your kind words. And God bless you too. Thank you, Sima. Thank you for being here this morning. Forever Curious, thank you for being here. Thank you for love. I love you back. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for reaching out all the way from Scotland. So thank you for being here this morning. Thank you, Rachel Arnold, for being here. Again, thank you for coming out from YouTube. And yes, we're going to bring Daniel home. It's a big effort from all of us. So I'm really grateful that you guys are joining in with me and my family's pain and helping us search for him. Thank you, Heidi, for your prayers from Facebook coming in. Thank you also. Blessings to all for being here this morning. Thank you, Nikki O'Shea, for being here. Grateful you come out again. Really appreciate you being here. Thank you, D Love, for being here this morning, coming out to join us in this Q&A. Thank you, Shrink and Sharon, for being here. Hello to you. God bless you for being here. Also, if you guys, I don't want to miss anybody. If you guys have any questions, again, this is what this is a Q&A, but I'm also we'll be putting out information at the same time. So if you guys have questions and want to ask them, just put the word question there first, or a big question mark, or a big letter Q, so as I'm coming down the comment section, I can actually find your questions. That helps out a lot. Thank you, Liz, for being here this morning. Yes, has it been aired on Dateline already? Not that I know of. I think they just, so far, they just sent me a trailer. They did a lot of filming. And I'm hoping that's not the end of that situation. But no, as far as I understand, it haven't actually come out. The episode haven't come out yet. I'm looking for the episode. So, a lot of times I've done a lot of interviews for my son, and most of them I haven't seen. So I had to pretty literally search the web, or ask somebody else, or ask these producers to send me a link. That's the only time I get to see it. That's why you guys only see some of the same footage. That's many interviews out there, from Dr. Oz to other things that's out there. It just, like I said, I don't get to watch them because I'm so busy. I don't get to watch them or get the link and things like that. So I'm sure they sent me the link, and I just had to go through emails and find them. But yeah, if that do come out, I will be putting it on here also. So thank you for being here, Fire Mama, for being here this morning. Thank you for your time. Fallen Water Dragon, thank you for being here this morning. Hello to you. Really grateful you coming out. Thank you, Shell GC. Thank you for being here. By GC, thank you so much for being here this morning. And your love from Georgia. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Rachel Arnold, again, for being here and spending your time here. Oh, well, thank you. I really appreciate it. Yes, I had a wonderful birthday. You know what I'm saying? So thank you all. It's always great whenever God has given me another year on this earth. So I'm really grateful for that. And being here, especially right now, to be here to fight for my son. So thank you so much for the well wishes. I really appreciate that. Thank you again, 12-Step Woman, for putting that up. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. That helps me get out farther, get the algorithm going, and for me to be able to put my son's story out there. You know what I'm saying? It's very important, you guys. Just your click there on your like and the share and subscribe. Those things are very important to push and bolster this channel to go out farther. I want to put more content here. We'll be doing Q&As. Try to set them just for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Friday, the next Q&A we'll bring on Mr. Short. He's the logistics and search coordinator for me, and he'll be here. We're talking about what we'll be doing next Saturday, not this weekend coming, but we'll be talking about things coming up Saturday, and how same thing I'm repeating here, how urgent it is for us to get the people that we need out there to help search, saying the reasons why and things like that. So on the kind of equipment that we need, stuff like that. So if you guys want to come back Friday and watch that'd be really nice. Also, thank you, T and Wildflyer. Thank you for being here this morning. Saleo, thank you for being here. 37, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. You coming out and joining me in this Q&A. So again, if you guys have any questions, please, put the word question there first, followed by your question, and that'll help out. Thank you, Gina, for being here this morning. Blessings to you. Thank you for your prayers. I know you've been doing everything you can to help on your end, being out here on the ground, doing some work. I really appreciate all the hard work you do. Also, thank you, Barry, for all the hard work you're doing. Blessings to you, and thank you for being here this morning, being here support in many ways. A lot of people don't know all the work, the hard work you're doing in the background. I'm really grateful for that. Thank you, Gwen, for all your hard work and your efforts and everything you're doing in the background from day one. And I'm really grateful for you being here. And you guys, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That will help the algorithm keep going and get this out. So I do have my first question here from Esther. Thank you, Esther, for being here. Esther Levy, for being here this morning and bringing your question. And like she did here, you guys, if you put the word question there first, that helped me see those questions as I'm coming down. And if I do miss it, if I miss it somehow, please just ask those questions again, and I'll get to them. Question, hiya, David. What was the name of the co-worker's workplace? Did you say Weber? Yes, it's Weber. Weber is the name. He's what they do is that's a drilling company. They're the company that drills those wells. Well, not all of them, but they're one of the drilling companies that go out and drill wells. But they was responsible for that well that my son went to, the well he went to examine. So he was out there. He's the only worker that morning out there with my son. So thank you for your question. You guys else have any more questions? I know some of these questions are some people who've been here every morning. They say, hey, man, you got the same questions and things like that. But you know what? It's a case about my son. Daniel's been missing since, like I said, June 23rd last year. And, some people haven't even heard so far about my son's story. Believe it or not, I'm here in Phoenix, right here in Arizona. I was in just Buckeye last night to a city council meeting. And I had to show my face, saying Chief Hall was there and Chief Sanders was there. They saw me and some of the other brothers that came out. What we did is we went out there to show our face. But I'm saying is, definitely going to make that move on that front there. But, you guys, a lot of people haven't heard of Daniel's story, and they come out here to the Q&A. And that's why it's important you guys like, share, and subscribe, because it get more people to hear the same story. Even though it sounds redundant, it goes over and over again, but that's the main key, is to get the story out there. Get it out there for people who haven't heard. I mean, people in Buckeye haven't heard. They live in Buckeye. My son went missing in Buckeye. People here in Phoenix haven't heard. They live in here in Phoenix. Tempe. He was the last resident of Tempe, and people haven't heard. So I go all over the place, and they're like shocked. Like I haven't even heard of your son's story. So if people come on here and they're new, that gives a sign that it's working. You guys like, share, subscribe, and you're putting it out there, and that's bringing new people to the channel where I can tell the story over and over again, and for those people to get the story, and they can go put that out somewhere and tell their families and their friends. And like I said, if somebody heard something or saw something, they can call this tip line behind me, or call me or something. Even Buckeye, I hate to say, but even them, just they have some way they want to report what they know. And so that's the whole reason I'm here, is to make sure that my son's story is out there. As you know, you only could rely so much on the news channel. It took me 3 months just to get the local news channel going and get and also getting this national attention. I know they give a lot of that attention, that credit to the Petito case, but I beg to differ. I've been working very hard pushing this together, and like I'm doing here. And again, I feel that even when my son's story went to these bit, as you see, Dateline and some of these other ones, it dies out. It dies out over time. But my son's story is still alive, and so I had to keep it that way. And I keep using this as a example for other families. Hey, look, you got to create your own. You got to create your own story. If the news stations don't see any value in the story anymore, because they look for something new. Every time I talk to them and say, "Hey, what's new? What's new? What's new?" If it's not new, we're not gonna play that on the air. So that type deal. I know your son's still missing. I know those journalists that I talk to, I have their numbers and things. They call and check and things like that. But they have boss too, the journalists and the reporters. So they're very passionate about Daniel's case, just like anybody else would. But they can't get it put on the air because they have to, like I say, if it's nothing new, they can't get in the ratings, or if it's not bringing them money, I guess, they're not going to play it. So I had to play it myself. That's what the YouTube channel is all about. Trying to find different ways to make sure to get more people on, keep you very interested. The only thing I have now is the story, and my son is missing and what I'm doing. So I'm really grateful you guys coming in every morning just to see that and being a part, and also trying to share and keep it going. So thank you. Shell by BC, thank you for being here this morning. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Karen Lee, for being here this morning. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you, Denise Cranford. Thank you for being here from Facebook. And I thank you for that well wishes. I really appreciate your comment there. Thank you so much. And also, let's see here. I think T and Wildflowers, I think I said it before, but if I didn't, thank you so much for being here. Oh, thank you for your comment too. But thank you for being here from YouTube. I really appreciate it. And we will bring Daniel home. I'm really grateful for that. Thank you, 12-step woman. Comment. A geologist would know better than to walk the desert naked with no water. Yes, I think anybody would. I've been out there. Volunteers been out there. Like I said, we had my first searches was from 5:45 in the morning, and that was the very first search. And it was in the dead heat of summer, and so we did it early. We planned it out to get people out by 10:30, and at least, if I can remember correctly. And it was hot. It was hot even then. And that's the desert's not to play with. You will be drinking water. And one thing I learned when I was in the military, I went through heat training. You'll believe it or not, water and salt will get you a long way. You know what I'm saying? When I say salt, you got to make sure you replenish your body with electrolytes. You can't just drink water. You got to also have something to replenish that electrolyte. That's why if you just have water, you don't guzzle that water down. You sip it. And you try to conserve it as you need it, because if you can't wash all your nutrients out your body also. And so, it's all the kind of things like that. But the whole point is, what you're saying is, even person common sense, your body will tell you, hey, you're not walking out there in that heat of sun, burning your skin, to you just being hot, just walk with no water and just constantly going. So no, you definitely, you're gonna drink water if you're out there. Trust me. Thank you also, Sophia, for being here this morning. Thank you for you're the A team, part of the A team. Also, thank you for being here this morning and all your hard work for Daniel, and also running your own business. Doing at the same time, doing your thing, trying to make sure you're here for me and my family and everything we do. So I'm really grateful for you. Oh yeah, and also thank you for putting that up there. we will be having that fast of prayer on April the 20th. If you guys want to please come join on with us on that Wednesday and on the fast and prayer, because I do believe in fasting and prayer. Prayer is the key. Is also, like I said, it's a tool that God has given us to talk to him directly, directly, and put our request in, our desires of our heart, and also make intercessions for everyone else. And that's what I would be doing, fasting to show action, and the prayer to put in my request. And my request is to find my son, and also to bless all those other families who are going through what we're going through. Me and my family, exactly what we're going through. The pain and the hurt that you go through when you don't know what happened to your loved one. It's one thing to have a loved one missing, and then you find out what happened really quickly, but it's tragic. It's tragic, and I know it's painful. However, at the same time, it's really painful and tragic also when it just lingers. It lingers on and on from day on to day out. And I met families, and it's one of the hard thoughts for me is that this become the same way it has become for so many other families. And I talk to them and say, hey, Mr. Robinson, I've been looking for whoever their loved one is for years, and they're still looking. I haven't seen one family yet that said it any kind of nonchalantly, just be kind of talking as if they got over it somehow. It is something you don't get over. I know a lot of people will say, hey, if you was in this shoes here, trust me, it would take you a long while. And everybody have their limits. Everybody have their limits, and I can't say that wholeheartedly, but I will assume, I guess, based on what I'm feeling as a father, I don't think you ever get over your child, your baby. He's a grown man, but he's my child to me, and you'll never get over that just easily. That just won't happen. So it's like a lingering something, and it is hard. So thank you, Sophia, and thank you, Pamela, for being here, and thank you for your prayers. I really appreciate that. You coming out from Facebook. D Love, thank you for your question. I have a question here from D Love, and I have one come from Tia Nets. Question, Mr. Robinson, can you share with us how the council meeting went, please, or is that today? I went to the council meeting last night. It was at 6:00 last night. One thing is, this first time we're going back. The first time is just to get an idea how the council runs, and also to make a presence. Sometimes you can speak louder by saying nothing. And one of the goals was to be there and just show our presence. I have been here since June the 26th, searching for my son on his ground. Started my own searches, conducted my own investigation. Hundreds of people in that desert out there searching with me. Went on national TV. Had the crews go out to Buckeye to talk to the chiefs, to putting in the petition, getting the petition signed, to you name it. Just being out here working really hard trying to find my son. And not one time has anybody from that city council, the mayor, or anybody reached out to me, city manager at the time, reached out to me to even acknowledge that I'm here on the ground. Now that says something. You can pretend like I don't exist, but that's the reason why you go up there and you sit in this council meeting to show them, hey, I exist. I'm here on the ground, and you're just not going to sit there and just simply ignore me. So my next step and my team, we all got together. They made a suggestion and put it together, and we are making ourselves present. We'll be at the next city council meeting. You guys want to find out how you can listen in. They do have a listening session. You guys can listen to it online if you can't be there, of course. They also have it if you guys can show up. I would like the numbers. That'd be a beautiful thing. If you guys want to come in support and sit down and over flood that city council meeting, I can on the next Q&A I will put that out, the information out, and the time and things like that. So if you guys want to join in and support, that would help a lot too. I'm telling you, everything we do if we do it all together as a people, we make things move. So a lot of times these families don't have that. They don't have a network of people joined again. Again, if you guys go on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and look at the petition, and please sign that petition. Sign the petition. It is not just a signature; it's your voice. It's you. It's you. Every time you sign that petition, is your voice. If you have multiple emails, I encourage you to do it. You only sign it one time, but if you have multiple emails, you can sign it multiple times. But each one of those petition numbers that you see, I think it's 150 some thousand now, almost close to it, 150,000. If you guys sign that petition, that's your voice. That's you as a person. So I don't look at not one of those signatures as a signature. I look at it as a person. You know what I'm saying? So it represents everybody. You're not here with me, or you just want to be present in some form or fashion. That's what I have the petition for. That's why I have other ways you can help tab on the page. That's why I have the PDF on the page, things like that. And that's the reason why I'm putting this out right now about that city council meeting, if you guys want to support, because we get things moving. A lot of families would love to have the opportunity that I'm having with you guys showing up here every morning and things like that. That's why I'm telling you, I hope the families who's watching and may have a missing loved one can follow suit. Hey, create your YouTube channel to get your loved one's story out there. Harass and talk to these city officials and the police department who's in charge, and get them up, make them do something. Whatever you got to do, that's your loved one missing. You have to be out there to make sure that they are listening and take you serious. So here we go. I have a question also from Tia and Wildfire. Status of FBI involvement. If not involved, what can we do to get their attention? And one of the things is I have had a lot of ways I've thinking about trying to get attention to my son's case. And one of the last things I've been pushing this off so long now, and that's a protest, right? Believe it or not, I have protest people come to me all the time. Those who love to protest come to me from day one. When I say almost from day one, when they realized that this department wasn't doing anything to really help. Words and action are two different things. Like I told you before, you can speak all the words you want to. You can put out whatever you want to in the report, but your action speaks louder than your words. And so when people see that, they say, man, we need to go protest and we need to do this. And I have been pushing that to the side. I pushed that to the side for a while because I've been trying to get this department to do the right things. At this point, like I told you before, now, again, I'm not asking the department to do anything for my son's case other than just move out the way. Move out the way and get the FBI involved and let them handle this case. Mind you, this vehicle itself may be on federal lands. I did talk to the FBI a few days ago, and they will be looking at some things. So the status of FBI involvement is not there yet. I'm still working on it. I did put in that request with Chief Hall. That's why I hear it on Dateline when they're saying, hey, on the fall or whatever. I kind of look at that timeline, but they're saying the fall on that Dateline that they had requested the FBI to look into this case. And that's when I put a letter in to Chief Hall to ask him to get the FBI into this case, and he agreed, and he did that. And like I told you guys, once they supposedly been doing this case briefing, it was that day when he told us that he sent me that letter, response to my letter, that he's having the FBI to do a case briefing. My attorney, she responded back quickly. I mean, the same as that day, no day later, and asked me to be involved in that case briefing. I need to be there and present. They ignored. They didn't respond to that. Ignored that and did this so-called case briefing behind my back. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was saying. No involvement at all. No involvement with giving me any kind of updates. No kind of anything from this department ever since we gave them the evidence that they didn't like. So he did call me back. Whenever I hear from Buckeye Police, it's never ever really that good. It's something that they need from me. Hey, you're anything from to this date, they'll probably, if they call back, they ask things like, hey, look, you seeing the movement on his bank statement. Why don't you go see if he got any movement on the bank statement? You know, that's kind of, I don't work for the Buckeye Police Department, you know, but I do try to help much as I can when it comes to, no, I don't see no movement on his stump, or, you know, whatever the question may be, answer those questions. But as in them, they came back to me, like I said, and said, hey, look, Mr. Robinson, the FBI, we did have the case briefing, and the FBI, I'm not saying it verbatim, but the FBI say they're not coming to your son's case because you as a father doing such a great job, they didn't come in. You know, that was very devastating to me, because I had a family press conference at the time. I was very happy. I was letting you guys know about that case briefing. I thought some positive outcome was coming out of that. I found I was getting what I was asking for, what you all was asking for with that petition, and so on and so on. And just to get slapped in the face again and to start all over again. So, you know, people don't understand how difficult that is when you have to deal with a department that just seem to don't want to do right. You know, so no matter how much you try to work with them, and I could come off as a police basher. I'm just not a person that's afraid to call out wrongdoing, you know, saying, in my opinion. So I'm not afraid to do that. You know, some people want to, I want to believe in the police department to do the right things. But if I see something wrong, I'm going to say something. Just like John Lewis said, I use that quote all the time. See something wrong, say something. And I'm going to say something. So, excuse me. Excuse me. But if I see something wrong, I'm definitely going to say something. So that's one thing for sure. And, you know, and I expect that from other families too. If you see something wrong, say something. Don't let these officers, I don't care, just because they wear have blue flag, I guess they call it Blue Lives Matter stuff, or they have some type of badge and a gun, and they say they're cops or whatever. This is like me. I could have been a cop. I would have been a good one. You know, anybody in the walks of life, as long as you have no criminal history, you can be a cop. Bad attitude guy, white supremacist, whatever, ex-military, whatever the case may be, you can be a cop. They have all kind of people show up in the department and end up being cops. You know what I'm saying? So I was in the military. We had gang members. You know, a lot of times we don't hear about stuff like that, but you have gang members in the military. You got white supremacists. You got it. You name it. It's in the military. A lot of us don't know that. I mean, unless you're in the military, and I know half of you people out here in the military that actually hear me talking now, you know, we have in the military, we have the departments that try to weave them out and kick them out. So, but they're there, you know. So, just because a person wear a uniform and say they're somebody, don't necessarily mean that they're actually who they are. So, yes, those questions. They do have a boss. They do have to subscribe to certain rules and regulations and things like that, despite of who they are. So the thing is, that's what you use. You question them. You question it out. You see something wrong, you say something, especially if your loved one life is at stake. Yes, you better. That's one thing you need to do. Multiple ways you can help. Thank you, Gwen, for putting that out. Please donate, sign the petition. Go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and you can get all of that information. Like I said, that petition is very important. Donation is very important. Like I said, I'm going to be here regardless. You know, look for my son. I'm push everything I can to be here for my son. But you guys making it so much easier. You know, saying you also providing me. Without you guys, I wouldn't have the searches the way I'm able to have those searches. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to put out these flyers and things like that, and awareness, and also to keep this YouTube channel going. So much stuff, you guys. When you do your help in all those ways, and also, like I said, the information part of it. You know, we'll have an events tab. We will be having some new events coming up. The team is working on that kind of things on our next event. So y'all, please look forward to look for that. I would appreciate it. Also, here, Pamela Garrison, thank you for being here. Please look in Rainbow Valley in case there was foul play. I never heard of Rainbow Valley, but I will try to look that up. I try to remember it. It seemed like an easy name to remember. And I don't know the significance of Rainbow Valley. Is that someplace in Arizona? I'm not sure. I haven't ran into that name yet. So like I said, thank you for putting that out, Pamela. And I will try to look. This is a question, but Guys, if you have a question, please put the word question there first, a question mark, a letter, capital letter Q. That'll help me see your question. Fallen Water Dragon, thank you for being here this morning off of YouTube. I just so happen to see, I believe it's your question in here because I see the question mark behind the first part of it. Would drones help in the search? I live in Australia, but love the help in the search. Drones help. Yeah, we utilize drones. I have a drone. I crashed a drone last Saturday, but this is a Blaze. It's been replaced. I have plenty of those. But the thing is, we use drones all the time out in the desert searches. Of course, they're very helpful. It helps us in our mapping of area that we need to search. So just like I said, we plan those things out. Myself and my logistics search coordinator, we plan those things out. Every Wednesday we have a meeting and plan out what we're going to do for Saturday. His job is to coordinate that search and also get people out in certain little areas that we designate that we want to search. And so, but yeah, drones helps out a lot. Like I said, I have a drone, and people bring their drones. However, the type of drones is even more so important. I'm just haven't to this date gotten the drones that I really need out there in the searches. These drones are specialized drones that can check the terrain in a way that the type of typical the drones that we have right now won't be able to do. It has some of the technologies and the programs that can be added to that drone to do a job like what we're doing. I'm out there searching for my son, and like I said, so to make it easier for me, I just say, hey, I'm up there for recovery, and everybody know what recovery means. So I'm in a recovery mission. I believe it's foul play out there. Hey, we found human remains out there in the desert on my searches, not Buckeye. So don't ever get confused that Buckeye didn't find anything. Like I said, they had multiple sources they claimed they had, which I have questions about. They had multiple searches, all the stuff they claim they did, and they haven't found. I keep saying it over and over again. They haven't found a construction cone. The reason I keep saying construction cone because everybody knows construction cones are orange. They have high orange color and they bright and illuminated color. And if you guys cannot see that, you can't see anything. That means you wasn't really looking, in my opinion. They haven't found anything. But we as civilians, as people on the ground, the everyday mom and pop and people, we out there on the ground. We have some people near their 70s out there. We haven't had one lady I found out was pregnant. She's out there searching, and we found human remains. And you have an department that's supposed to be trained with all these helicopters they clean the hair, cadaver dogs and search dogs and all this kind of stuff, and they have found nothing. They haven't even found a sock. So you guys, drones, it helps. So we need that terrain check and help us find out places that been dug up and things like that. So there's some technology out there, certain drones that do help with that kind of search. And that's because it's a big bright, big wide area. Thank you, Sherry DePriest. Thank you for being here. May God bless you too. And I really appreciate your well wishes coming out from Facebook. Thank you, Tisa Phil, for all your hard work in the background. And I know what you do. I really appreciate it. A lot of people don't get to know all your hard work that you do in the background. So I'm really grateful all the things you have done, along with John Q and Miss Q and everybody else, just everybody on the team. My mind kind of going on the brain fart right now, but Renegade, that's who I want to speak out, Renegade. And so thank you guys for really, really all your hard work that you've been doing in the background. Okay, D Love, thank you for your question. I have a question here from D Love. The question is, Mr. Robinson, were you able to repair your drone? Yes. The drone is fine. The drone is fine. It's a little dirty. I had to wipe it down, but the drone is fine. I was doing some footage and I accidentally hit the on the controller. Hit the sports mode. Hit the sports mode, and that thing was moving kind of quickly. And before I can lift up, the sensors on that thing usually make sure it don't crash into anything. But I guess on that speed it was going, it was kind of low, and there's a tree sitting there, a little small tree, desert tree, and it crashed into that and broke the blade. So it just those blades. If you know anything about drones, of course, just pop on a new blade and it'd be good. So I just didn't have time to do it yet, but yeah, it's fine. I really appreciate it. If you guys can hit that like, share, and subscribe button. That really help. Thank you, Gwen, for putting that back up again. Again, please don't forget to do that, especially if you come on here for the first time. Just go ahead and do it. Just hit the like, share, subscribe. But what it does is help this channel get out a lot farther and to reach more people. That's the name of the game. You guys, some of you people have been here over and over again, and you hear the same stuff over and over again. I'm telling you, it's for the same stuff over and over again. It's more so for the people who's new, who don't know about my son's case or have questions. You may still have questions. So new people who haven't heard of my son's case, like I said, and want to know, hey, what's going on? I'm just happening to run to this channel. I'm helping to hear something they talking about, some boy missing, and his name is Daniel Robinson. He went missing on June 23rd in Buckeye, Arizona. He's a geologist. He's been working out there doing what he loves. He was at a well site where he was with one other person. There was only two there, and this narrative's been built based on the one guy's testimony, one worker's testimony that was out there with him. And my son disappeared from that well site, never to be ever seen again to this date. His vehicle showed up here right behind me. That's a picture that's taken from the Buckeye Police Department's picture that they took on the scene when the vehicle was discovered. All the pictures look pretty much the same. There's no forensic mark there, no markings or anything like that. Every picture. But his vehicle was found here almost 30 days later on July the 19th by a rancher who was there also 2 to 3 days prior, and it wasn't there. So it indicates that the vehicle was planted there. His clothing was on the ground. Everything he's wearing on his body, from underwear to socks, on the ground. His boots out there that he's wearing. Safety vest, you see right here, the orange thing on the ground, that's a safety vest. So that's for people who just coming on. So please hit that like, share, and subscribe, and then you can learn more about what happened to my son and the case. I have a question from D Love. I think this okay, no, that's the same question there. Thank you again, D Love. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Pamela Garrison, being here. Do y'all look in Mesa homeless? I'm not sure in Mesa. Mesa is one place I'm not familiar that I ever went to Mesa to check homeless. I do have people passing out flyers in Mesa, but as in homeless shelters or anything like that, I don't know if you mean like the homeless population in Mesa. If that's the case, no. The homeless shelter, I haven't heard of a homeless shelter in Mesa either, but that's one place that can be searched, and I would try to, if there's one. I'm still learning about Arizona. There's a lot of areas in Arizona, special Phoenix area on out, these cities outside of Phoenix. It's large. Everything's large, so you always have places you can go look and search. And so, yeah, that'd be one of the things I can think of. See if there's a homeless shelter out there in Mesa. I've been having some problem with the homeless shelters here in Phoenix, though. I tend to think they run themselves like gang members in a way. Hey, this is my side of the street. That's your side of the street. Hey, don't come on my side. Keep your homeless people on your side and keep mine on my side. You know, it seemed that way because I have volunteered at one of the homeless shelter here. It's called the Andre House. I've done that just to be able to get those flyers out and also to kind of understand the homeless population here in Arizona. And so with my searches, when I started the flyers out there, putting the flyers, I used to call it a city search then. Going to those homeless shelters, it was very rough. They don't want you in there passing out flyers. They don't want you in their property. You can do it out in the street, that type of stuff. But you can look behind that gate and they have thousands of homeless people, and they just won't let you get to them. One of the suggestions I had from someone that I was actually even considering is to dress down and pretend to be homeless just to get those flyers inside those facilities, because it's hard to get into them because they have to look like turf war or something. So. But I will look into that. I want to get a chance to talk to the administrators of those homeless shelters. I didn't get a chance to do that yet, still to this day. There's a lot of things I've been wanting to do, and it slips past me, and then I end up on doing something else. But, to get those to those administrators at those homeless shelters to want to come in and allow me to come in and get those flyers out to those people and check those homeless population. As far as I know, my hope and prayer is that all of this is for nothing, and Daniel somehow don't know who he is, or whatever the case may be, and part of this homeless population. That's the reason why I have these flyers. That's why I ask you guys, to help me continue to get these flyers out and getting the word out and things like that. Because somebody going to hear something, say something, if he's out there or some kind of form of fashion. That's all that stuff is important. So I look at every avenue, even though I have a lot of things I do know about this case now. And, as you know, guys, I promise you, a lot of things I can't put out, of course, because I have investigation of my own going on. And some things that would suggest a lot, you know what I'm saying? And in my opinion, I have my opinions about this case. But I'm putting it together, and some things will bring me all the answers that I need once I get it done. So, but right now, since I don't have those full answers, I'm looking at every possibility. Despite of what one gentleman coming out on, he doing all these interviews. I'm not gonna say his name. You probably can know who I'm talking about. You guys look at all these interviews he's doing out there, suggesting that I'm, as a father, I'm so biased that I can't look a different direction. That's far from the truth. Again, when my son went first missing, and this ludicrous theory that this Buckeye Police Department suggested that my son join a monastery, did all of this to himself to join a monastery because he wanted to be away from us as a family so bad. He joined a monastery, become a monk. He did all of this to throw us off, type deal. Even with that, I still checked the monastery that was close by. There's some in Arizona. I checked it to make sure my son didn't somehow did all of that to join a monastery and become a monk, and the place was closed because of COVID during that time. And there was no way he went there. So the other part is he wouldn't be able to walk there butt naked, across that desert to get there. I mean, it took him a day or so to just walk over there. He wouldn't have never made it, in that condition. But if you're driving, why would he wreck his car if he wanted to do that? He could have drove there and go ahead and join. So, he could have drove, go down the interstate and get back on I-10 and go 2 S's up and go across and get there. So, so that type deal. But I'm saying, despite of what somebody out there putting out bad mouth about me as a father, and I'm out here on the ground since June 26th, he's not out here looking for his son. And so, if somebody put out bad word press about my thinking, I can tell you from my mouth, I definitely look at every angle, even the hurtful ones, every angle. It's hard for me to say. It took a while mentally to say, hey, I'm out here in this desert. When I go out there in the desert, I'm not looking for Daniel walking around butt naked in the desert all these months, and he somehow survived. I'm not looking for that. God can do all kind of miracles. I can't say nothing against God's work, but I can say I'm using common sense with my own brain, and I do have to think outside of what I would like to see. As a father, of course, I want to see my son alive out there in the desert, walking around, and I'm rescuing him. I would love that, but I have to be honest with myself and things like that. So anytime you got to be honest, I have the ability to do that. Hey, I'm ex-military. That's what we have to do. That's the reason why the mission comes first, and you put all your feelings aside, and that's the way we were trained to do. And that's why I'm a professional soldier, and that's what we do. But I have a question here from Jazz Wrangling. Thank you so much for being here this morning on Facebook. The question is, again, guys, you can put the big Q there. That helped me find your question. And also, I'm going to jump real quick here. If you had to put a big question mark, like Gwen has here, in front of your question, that helps out too. Either way, the word question, that helps out. So thank you. Here go Jazz Wrangling. Was there anybody else belongings in this car, or even DNA? We won't know about the DNA yet. I can tell you that. There was no friend. Like I said, this picture came from the Buckeye Police Department. There was no forensic work done. They told me on a recorded meeting that they did doing a DNA testing on the scene. They also only any kind of DNA testing they did is fingerprinting that I requested from when I was in that meeting with them that they end up performing. So excuse me again. They that's the only DNA testing that they ever did, what I requested, and I still don't have results to that. So I'm still looking for those results. But as in for anybody else belongings, the only thing I was told, and I was told from the Buckeye Police Department, and I was told also from my former investigator, accident reconstructionist, who checked the vehicle and told me all the contents that's in that vehicle. And then also I have pictures of all the content that was in that vehicle, and from my ability from when I was with Detective Biffin, when he opened those doors up to take a peek inside that vehicle. No, I didn't see anything that would suggest somebody else's clothing. Like I said, anybody else's DNA, that's said to be seen. That's the reason why I'm asking you guys. I'm trying to get this funding going. Really had to keep everything I got going on, and I still have yet to be able to process this vehicle. It's expensive. You guys can look it up for yourself and just look up one item. That if you're trying to get one item, one clothing item, and try to get the price of idea of the price of just one item, then you get the idea why it takes so much money. But you know what? The vehicle even more so to try to get DNA from that vehicle. I do have the airbags. I do have everything. Like I said, that department didn't do any investigation. So how can you do an investigation without the stuff? They gave it to me the day after. That vehicle was given to me the day after it was recovered from that. So, and they tell you the details of what they did when they did the fingerprinting. They just swapped the steering wheel to this and that. It wasn't the fibers and, they see if it's hair, somebody's hair or this and that. They didn't do all of that. So that's the kind of things I would have done to this vehicle. So far, no, I don't know of anything else. I don't know what's really in that vehicle. Like I said, personally, I haven't seen that vehicle but twice. That's when Detective Biffin showed it to me, and also the time my ex PI, Jeff McGrath, showed it to me. And, so I don't know exactly everything else is in it just by physically looking. I haven't been there other than the physical look I did when Detective Biffin opened the door and pulled the airbag open. I didn't see anything that suggests somebody else's clothing in there. So I'll find that out later. Thank you so much for your question. Kimberly, I don't know this question, but thank you for being here. And thank you. I see you say you'll be here for the next line search. Yes. And, thanks for being there for the line search. And I can tell you, you say you want to put some pressure on that apartment. And I do have a number here if you guys want to call the Buckeye Police Department. If you want to say some things like that, that's the number down there on the bottom of the screen scrolling. And if you want to know who to direct a lot of that stuff to, you got Chief Hall there. And I'm not asking them to, you guys call, you can ask them whatever you want to. But my desire is that I don't want them involved in my son's case. I lost all credit. They lost all credibility with me. They have no credibility. Look, it's been 9 months. Why would they be doing something now after 9 months? Ask yourself that question. Would you trust them? I don't. All I'm asking them is to bring the FBI into my son's case and really push hard for that. I had to get attorney. I'm working on the Attorney General's office, whatever the case may be. I'm working on all of them to try to get somebody into my son's case outside of Buckeye. No matter what they put in for, we work with outside agencies. I've been here since June 26th. Not one time anybody outside of the Buckeye Police Department reached out to me. Not one person. And they claim they work with other agencies. What agencies they work with? None. They work no agency. That's words they put in the report. This department, and I would have a session about it eventually. This department has been in trouble many times. Chief Hall himself got suspended for falsifying reports. They known for that. That's a history. So you guys don't take everything you read in that report verbatim. I'm telling you, if you look up Buckeye's history, and you'll find out they're known for falsifying reports. One of them he got, like I said, the chief of police himself got suspended for that, and some other ones won't even quit because of their corruptness. So just look into that, and the reason why you wonder why I don't need that department handling my son's case, because anything can go, haywire with that, and I don't trust them. So thank you so much for your question, your comment. Bobby Kennedy, thank you for being here from Charleston, South Carolina. Again, I really appreciate it. If you guys want to put the question there, question mark, the word question, like Gwen have here, or you can put the letter Q, the capital letter Q, like Jazz Raglan have there. So thank you so much. And I think you have a question. Was anyone else belongings found in with his or even DNA? Okay, that's the same question I had before. And the answer to that, no, need to both. There's nobody else's belongings as far as I know, and there's no DNA was able to test it. So I don't know if DNA is in there or not. We haven't been tested for that kind of DNA. And if the fingerprint they claim they did swab the steering wheel and all that stuff for DNA or whatever, I have yet to get any answers about anything about that. So thank you, Jennifer, for your desire to come out and help. One thing I can tell you, if you want to help, if you can, and thank you for sharing. First of all, if you guys hit that like, share, subscribe, and throw this up real quick. Like, share, subscribe. Your first time here, please do that. They help the algorithm grow, help this channel grow. I appreciate that. But again, back to your comment there. Other ways you can help is right there on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You go there and click on that tab at the top. Jennifer, your desire. You put your skill sets in, and the team will figure out. Because I have an upcoming foundation, the Daniel Robinson Foundation I'm working on, and there's all kind of ways that you can help in this endeavor. So, but we need to know the skill sets, and we're putting together something. You guys put up the skill sets and say, "Hey, I haven't heard anything back." We're working on those. We're working on those and seeing how we better place. We need the idea of how you can help, things like that. So that help us get those ideas together, and how people can help outside of Arizona. Outside of the desert searches, outside of passing out these flyers. But if you want to pass out flyers, Jennifer, you also can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. That's a PDF there on how you can create those flyers. And one thing I want to say that's not there is I just asked if you guys can get those flyers made in the size of a postcard. That definitely help out with that, because it need to be in a postcard form for a reason. It helps people to carry it with them and things like that. It's harder to carry something like that in your pocketbook, in your pockets, if it's the size of a notebook paper. So all that is important, and the durability. Also, if you're tacking it up, this state don't have much rain at all, so it's easy to tack something up and it lasts a long time on a pole somewhere. But in certain states like South Carolina, where I'm from, it's always raining, and so you need something that can stand up to weather and things like that too. So try to keep those things in mind. If all else fails, you can hit the 200 number, and we have those flyers sent out to you. So I have been sending flyers out to some people. I have some people complaining they didn't get the flyers yet. Still working on those, so I apologize for those who haven't received their flyers, and I'm going to make sure they get out. Thank you, Pamela, for your question. Did you look in the Rainbow Valley? No, I have not. I still will be looking into what Rainbow Valley is. If it's here in Arizona, I'm sure, because you wouldn't be asking about it. But if it's in someplace in close proximity to where my son was missing, things like that, or if I have a reason, a tip, unless you're giving me a tip to that, if you give me a tip, please use the tip line, or also just hit the 803-200 number, and that would leave a tip and the reasons why. If this Rainbow Valley is not close proximity to my son where he went missing, reason why you feel that it's important for me to search. Now, if you have a reasons why like that, if it's not informed, that's actually that he's there, or if it's just that you think, or you have some of those reasons, you can hit that 200 number, 803-200 number, and let me know that. So thank you. I think I have a question coming up. Well, thank you, Jennifer, for being here. Did your son have a dog? No, he did not. Is there any dog search teams that could help? I reach out to anybody who can help. I did have cadaver dogs out to my searchers. I did have of our own outside of Buckeye, cadaver dogs, to the searches and things like that. Still have people bringing their dogs who very good at sniffing things out. But certified dogs, yes, we did have certified dogs at the searches and things like that. Always going to continue to have that. But Daniel, no, he do not have a dog. So thank you for that question. Praying for your family. Thank you, S. Modern, for being here this morning. Anybody have any more questions? Please, like Pamela here, put a big Q there, big question, word question, or a big question mark there before in front of your question. That'll help me find you. Did y'all look in Mesa homeless tent city? And again about Mesa. And again, I don't know anything much about their homeless population, but we do have people passing out flyers in Mesa. But yes, that'll be, if they have a tent city, I'll find all this. They have a homeless shelter, I will find out about those as well. So Thank you guys. If you hit the like, share, subscribe button again. I'm getting close to the end of this Q&A. If y'all have more questions, please put the, I see a couple. You have questions, put the, like Tisa Field here, put the word question there, followed by your question. A big question, word question, followed by your question, Q, a big capital Q, or a big question mark. They help me find your question as I'm coming down the timeline, comment section. Question, has Daniel's employer indicate at all if he was working with anyone else at the first site he was at in that morning, or was he working alone at the first well site? You know, it's funny. I've been asking on those kind of questions, and I have gotten very little. Only thing I have gotten from his company is that he was there to take some notes or something, get some kind of information from that well. But from my son's, from my own investigation, I know he was there to do some other little things, and I do have those things that he did at that well site. But as in him working with anybody there, I have yet to have that answer to that question, and that's some of the questions I will be having, pretty soon. I've been asking that question for a while, and I can't get answers to that one. So I don't know if he was working with anybody else, but I know he was working with someone at the second well site. So yeah, there's no indications of that. So. But I do know some answers to that I definitely can't put out right now. So thank you, Tisa Field, for your question. I know how you do your work in the background. And I thank you for your question and finding these answers. So thank you. 12-step woman, thank you for your question. Does Daniel employer always practice only one person accompanied to check the wells there? Is there a safety guideline policy we can read somewhere? That's one thing my aunt, she had a problem with that company at first, you know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, Daniel always, I talk to him a lot, he's always at a well site with himself and one other person most times. I heard him say it a few times that he was there with multiple people, was at the well site. I guess they was actually drilling the site or something, but most times when I talk to him, yeah, he's always there with one other person. So that's common. But I do know that he traveled by himself when he had to do it. That's one of the problems we had as a family. They didn't have that kind of safety mechanism, meaning that also they didn't provide anything. That's why my son was working for Instacart. Hey, what they do is he provide all the stuff for his work that day, whether it's the equipment to his safety vest, of course, so whatever safety equipment whatever he used out there at that well site, his gas, all that kind of stuff. All that had to be put on an expense report, and then they reimburse him his money whenever they do it. And it took too long sometimes. So, as in anybody else accompanying him, no, I have never talked to Daniel when he said, "Hey, me and another worker is heading to this well site," or me and another one of the workers from Matrix is at this well site. It's always that he's there talking to me on the phone. He said he's there with one other person from some other company, that type deal in most occasions. So that helps a lot with that. So thank you, Denise Cranford, for being here this morning. I really appreciate your comments, and I really appreciate you being here this morning. And yes, and I agree with these questions are very good, Saleo. Thank you so much. Yeah, we do have some good questions. Again, if you guys hear some of the same questions, we have new people. And I'm hoping that that's why I'm asking you guys to like, share, and subscribe, please, to keep this going, because we need new people. We need people to be able to ask some of these same questions to know about Daniel's case. That's the whole name, the reason why I'm here. This is not an entertainment channel, and about I would love to be able to highlight other people's cases, because other people's families are going through the same thing. But my main priority right now is my son. He's missing, and that's my duty as a father. To look for my son and get his story out there. So I have to keep the story going and keep talking about his story. So I really appreciate you guys just bearing in with me and actually listening to me talk about some of the same things again. So thank you for those questions. Did you have Fire Mama 411 for your question? Has there been any searches on the opposite side of the road near Lynchfield Park or Gala River? What is needed to test the vehicle? Well, you know what? Yes, that Lynch Park and Gila River, they did have some people out there. So they haven't sent my searches. The search I have, my organized searches, no, we haven't done it that way. But there were some people who went to go check those things and reported back to me, Litchfield Park and also the Gila River area. So, but as in for the vehicle, it takes money. It takes money. That's the money that I just don't have right now to get that vehicle tested the way I need to get it tested. Get to the forensics side of things. It's all about funding, about the money. So that's what I need the most. I mean, as in the facility to have it done, it had to be the right facility. I'm definitely, this is the care of me taking care of my son's, his things, take care of his thing and get the right results and the right answers that's supposed to be given. So I can't just go to any facility at the same time. So I had to make sure that facility is able to do my son's vehicle process my son's vehicle the way it need to be processed. And like I say again, that it's all about what's needed with that is money. It's always money. That's just the bottom line of that. And it's expensive. So I'm working on that, trying to get those fundings up. And so I'm working on it. So thank you, Fire Mom 11, for that question. Yes, and I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it done. If all else fails, I'm working on really hard to get the FBI involved so they can get it done, or some other department. So outside of Buckeye. So I would not feel great for anything coming out of that department. So thank you for that question. All right. Thank you. Blessings to all. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your prayers. I do have a question here from Lawrence. Thank you for coming out this morning on this YouTube, from YouTube. Did we do 8 and 9 miles up north or south on South Sun Valley Parkway real well for homicide foul play? Easiest way to kill and crash Jeep in a ravine. Yeah, we searched a lot of areas. I'm not sure if you said 8 or 9 miles north. We're still working on some northern areas and also some southern areas. But some of the northern areas I talked to my search coordinator. And Lawrence, I think I know who you are. You one of the guys to come out to the searches. I really appreciate you coming out and help. But we definitely working on those areas. Again, Lawrence should know this too. It's big out there. And a lot of the search was based on different things. As far as a person can walk without it dropping, we had to look at the weather conditions. We had to look at condition that my son supposedly, we're going to assume that he was butt naked, like they were saying here, that he didn't have any change of clothing. We didn't have any suggestions of change of clothing. My thing still, if he had change of clothing, why would he be stripping all the way down to his underwear and socks? Who carry an extra pair of socks and underwear with him? I don't know. So those type things, but I can see changing clothes, but for cooler clothes or lighter clothes, or whatever the case may be. But usually people keep their socks and underwear on. That's the reason I'm saying that. One thing is, as in the 7 mile radius is based on what was on the dash. So we had some searches based on that. Like I said, again, I have two places in the desert. There's the well site and also the crest site. We also got to take consideration the mines in that area. What's feasible for the mines and the wells? Where a person, if they was to do some foul play, what places they would go to do certain things. So all of come into play of how far I'm searching out there, how far my searches go, and how wide my searches go and why. So to make a long story with that, that's the reason why you guys, if you was out there on the ground, Lawrence, know it takes a lot. When you're on foot, it takes time, it takes a lot. Here it is 9 months later, going on 9 months later, and I'm still haven't complete everything out there I would like to when it comes to searching. So thank you, She Rose Nation, for being here this morning, coming out to support. Again, so I really appreciate seeing you out here again. Thank you, 12 Step 1, for putting that up. If you like, hit that like, share, subscribe button, please. That would help. Thank you, Mr. Farmer, for being here. Thank you for being out there last night with me in the city council meeting. I really appreciate it. Some of the brothers who showed up, we had to show our face, and I'm really grateful for you being there with me to sit by my side and make sure that we make a presence. Let them know, hey, Mr. Robinson in town. We've been here. They know I'm here. Again, they know I'm here, but they haven't yet to, the mayor, I haven't yet to even reach out to say, hey, they even acknowledge I'm here. So sometimes they try to ignore you. You have to come to their front porch and talk to them right there. Let them know who you are and where you at. So we will be back there again, and I'm really grateful for you, Mr. Farmer, for also being part of the A-team and helping out in the background. You guys getting the kind of like visual and everything else going. So I'm really grateful for everything you do in the back. P. Shelton, Sherborne, thank you for you being here on the YouTube side of this Q&A. Thank you for your prayers and your love. Present love to you also. I really appreciate you. Thanks for coming out. You guys can hit that like, share, and subscribe button, especially if you're new on the channel. If you guys can do that, it help the algorithms again to get this channel out there farther, to reach more people. That's the reason why I'm here doing the Q&A, not for any type of entertainment. It is here to bring awareness for my son. My son has been missing since June the 23rd, and I have to do as a father, same thing you would do for your loved one, or you would love your parents or anybody else to do for you, your loved one, to do for you if you go missing, is to look for you. I'm out here since June 26th on the ground looking for my son. Been doing my own investigations, my own searches. I started my own searches, and also doing my own distribution of information, and YouTube is one of my ways of getting my son's stories out there, keeping it going, and so I can find out what happened to my son, or if anybody know anything, they can be aware that I'm looking and they may want to say something. That's the reason why I provide the service behind me. It's a anonymous tip line. That number sitting here behind me. It's a paid service that I'm paying for. We have live operators 7 days a week, 24/7. You guys want to hit that tip line, you know something, heard something, say something. If you don't want to, again, talk to anybody in one of those live operators, they allow you to be anonymous if you like. You also, if just don't want to talk to anybody, you can do like on the bottom of the screen here, strolling, just text the word tip to that number, and the form will come up, and you still could stay anonymous if you like. So again, thank you all for just bearing in with me and hearing me say some of these things again. But thank you for being always Falling Water Dragon from all the way from Australia. And that's what I'm saying. We got people from Australia to Africa to the Netherlands to you name it. I even have a person from Russia reached out and know about my son's story. But yet I've been here passing out flyers. I've been here since, like I said, June 26th, talking to some of the local people from Buckeye to Phoenix and Mesa and some of these other places. And they haven't even heard of the story about Daniel. And there's still people out there that haven't. So we have plenty of room, you guys. We have plenty of room to put my son's story out there. That's what this YouTube channel is all about. That's why you keep hearing the same thing over and over again. It's a story about Daniel. It's about him. If you guys want to have questions about him personally, some of the questions I can answer, I would do that. If you want to know more about the case, some more details, I get it, must answer. Some of them may sound over and over again, but that's some of the facts and things that we know. And for people like Fallen Water Dragon, I think it's the first time here, may be the first time they even heard about the story, and they need to know a little bit more. So some of your questions, even though they're redundant, may help that next person. So thank you. Thank you again, Mr. Farmer, for being here. Also, thank you, Rachel, for your question. If you guys have questions, please put the word question there for us first, like Rachel did, or put the big capital letter Q or a big question mark, something I can see as I'm coming down the comment section and get your question. Rachel, has Daniel's job supported you in any way? Have they showed any concern for their missing employee? They have been coming out to the searches. Once I started my searches, they have been coming out really hard. When I said they have, I don't know if it's just employees got together and say, "Oh my God, we got one of our fellow employees missing, and we're gonna go out to the father's search." They didn't organize their own searches. Is what I'm saying. They did come out to my searches to support, and it's been about like 8 of them or so, a little more at first. I think somewhere around that number that came out first, but then they quickly died out after a few months of searching. They have been out. Only one come out every so often, and that's Daniel's boss, one of his direct supervisors. He'll come out every so often, and he still to this day still come out every so often. So they have been coming out to my searches, but as in one of the problems I had as a family is they haven't gone to look for other outside of alerting my daughter that he was missing from the job where they don't know where he went at the time. Outside of that, coming to her house they haven't done any real searches or anything that would suggest that they did spending the money to go out there in that desert looking for my son. Again, I haven't had it from the Buckeye Police Department. I haven't had it from that company. So, of course, again, I'm a father, and I keep saying it like a bro. Like it's an honor to be a father. First of all, it's an honor to be a father. I'm grateful and I'm proud to be a father, and it's an honor. So you hear me say it that way. It's a reason why I said, I'm a father, and my son go missing. I'm going to go find him. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Being a parent is my job. It's my responsibility, and also is my right, and it's my birthright to go out there and search for anybody. He's a Robinson boy, and I'm going to make sure he's okay. So thank you. Thank you for your question there. But yes, I would love them to have done something at the beginning to really look for Daniel. All right. I do have a question here from Pamela. Thank you, Pamela, for coming again from Facebook. Has flyers been sent to LA, Los Angeles, California? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about if they made it. I hope so. Having any direct connection to anybody from LA, California. Excuse me, I have some itches in my nose. But LA, California, I haven't had anybody direct. So I'm looking. Like I said, I'm trying to get these flyers out everywhere I can. That's where I had the PDF on the website. If anybody in LA, California hearing this, and they want to make these flyers for me, if you want to help in that way, by all means, help me in that way. I need all the help I can get. If you want me to send you those flyers, please ask me by calling or texting this number that you see scroll on the bottom. That's come direct to my cell phone. I can get your address, and I have these flyers sent out to you. So I've been sending some flyers out already, and I wouldn't have no problem sending to California. We had some go to New York, so and some other places. So thank you so much for that question. All right, I have a question here from Peace Shelbourne. Thank you for coming in on this Q&A this morning in concern of my son's case. I'm really grateful for you being here. The question is, will you be able to do forensics on Daniel's car soon? I pray you can. I'm still waiting on the funding, P. Shelbourne, and that's I'm waiting on the funding. Once I get that funding, yes, I'm doing it as soon as possible. It needed to be done yesterday. It needed to be done on the scene. Right after it should have been. First of all the forensics work should have been done there. It should have seen markers all over this picture. Pictures and different angles they're taking and where the clothes is and all this kind of stuff. All that should have been measured and done. That's what I would have done if I was a detective, a real detective. That's what we do. Mark everything, canvass the area, find out any kind of clue you can, or whatever the case may be. That's police work. You look at this, no police work was done. The first thing I would have done is got it to the lab somewhere, process it for evidence, and get all the DNA testing I can get done instantly. So make sure nothing had been destroyed, get that documented, and then keep it in storage. Nobody would have access to this vehicle, not even the family. This vehicle would have been marked for evidence until this young man came back for his things as they marked on for safekeeping. Until he literally came back, I would have kept that stuff just in case foul play happened. Later we find out. So no, I'm not able to do it right now, but I'm working on it. So thanks so much. Just waiting on the funding. Thanks so much for your question. And thank you, Shelley, for your comment. I'm going down here in this comment section. You guys can please share Dan's story. I really appreciate it if you can. That's why I'm here this morning, to share my son's story. I'm honored to make sure I'm here for my son, but at the same time, it's painful. It's very painful to have to tell us all over every day. Thank you, Coco Puff. Thank you so much. I pray for new updates too, and I pray for new answers. And thank you for your comment about me also. And we do have to put pressure on the Buckeye Police Department. Thank you, Rachel, for saying that. So if you guys can put pressure on them to let this case go. Let it go to somebody else who can handle this case. They cannot handle it, and we need to make sure that they get this case over to the FBI and make sure it happens. Make sure it happens they don't have the resources or whatever the case may be, whatever their problem is, they don't have it. So make sure it happens. Thank you, Shauna, for the A team. Thank you for being here this morning on this Q&A and all your hard work in the background. Thank you for putting that up. The City Council first and third Tuesday of every month. It's at 6 p.m. Location is there. If you guys want to put that down, I'll leave that up for a second. But yes, that's when we'll be going out to the next City Council on the third Tuesday of this month. And I will be speaking. So I will be speaking at this next one coming up, and I will be voicing. I think they only give you about, sadly, I think of 2 or 3 minutes or something like that, something really small, just to say your words. But I'll have the right choice words by that time of what I need to say. One of the main things is, hello, I'm here in your state, I'm here in your city, I'm here in your jurisdiction, and I've been here since June the 26th, searching for my son. And and they know I was here again. It's impossible for a mayor of a city to not know what's going on, unless he's not a very good mayor. It'd be impossible for him to not know what's going on in his city. At least that's his job as a mayor, to know what's going on in his city, what's going on in his department, his police department, and all that kind of stuff. So he know, but they don't have the common decency to even acknowledge me as a father, who they saying the FBI said I'm doing such a great job on my own that they don't need to come in. If I'm doing such a great job on my own, wouldn't you be congratulated? Give me a trophy or something. You think I'm just that great? I'm better than the FBI searching for my son. So you know what? You acknowledge me then. You come acknowledge me and know to say, hey, we know you're here in Buckeye. But they haven't done that. That's like I told you again, action speaks louder than words. Your actions tell a lot about you as a person, and it tells you a lot. You can say what you want to say with your mouth. Because I'm gonna let the Bible say, you honor me with your mouth, but your heart is far from you. You can say whatever, but your actions is going to show who you really are. So thank you, Mary Flynn, for being here this morning. I really appreciate it. You coming in. You guys, please, if you could hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. Thank you, Gwen, for putting that up. Fasting and prayer. We're coming up on the 20th. You guys can join in on the fast and prayer. We got a lot coming up. So also, like I said, the city council meeting, gonna be doing that. Also, don't forget, on the 29th, from April the 29th to March 1st, I will be in Vegas, Las Vegas, speaking on the Crime Con. I will be on their network as a speaker. I've been invited by Dr. Phil, and the Crime Con team. They want me there, and I will be speaking out there. And so I'm really grateful if you guys can join in. You guys can be a part of the Crime Con event and come out and hear. So I'm spreading my son's story out there, and so I'm honored and grateful for the opportunity that was given to me to go out and speak about my son's story. Pete Sherborne, thank you for being here. This morning, I may be saying some of the same people. Thank you, Mary Flynn, for being here this morning. Rachel Arnold, thank you for being here this morning. I really appreciate you being here. If anybody have any more questions, please hit the big question mark. The question, and Atara, thank you for being here. I think I haven't said anything yet to you. Thank you, Mr. Short, for being here. Also, and I'll see you on Friday. Hopefully, if you want to come in on this Q&A on Friday, and we can speak about the searches on the next Saturday, not the Saturday coming, but the next Saturday. Saying you come on live. So thank you for being here this morning and your hard work. Thank you, Dennis, your wives too. Thank you, Evan, for your wife and yourself. Dennis Cranford, thank you for being here this morning. I really appreciate that. Let's see who else I got here. Again, my name is David Robinson, the father of Daniel Cornelius Robinson. He went missing on June 23rd in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona. His vehicle was found almost. He was never found after June 23rd, but his vehicle did show up on July the 19th, almost a month later, in that ravine right there. Everything my son was wearing on his body that day he went missing is on the ground here. We have some damage on that vehicle that don't match the rain red transfer paint on the vehicle that suggests he rubbed up against something red, crashed up with maybe a car, whatever the case may be. It happened before it ended up in this ravine. It's a lot of suggestions that because of that, the damage don't match the terrain and all this other stuff. An accident happened somewhere first before that vehicle made it to this ravine. Also, there was a sock that was found, that the matching sock in the evidence bag that Buckeye collected from the scene. Almost a few weeks later, it was found out there near the well site, suggesting that it's possible foul play happened. But to this date, I can't convince that department to move past foul play, missing person. And one thing though, as long as they keep it as a missing person, that means by law they don't have to do anything for me and my family. And they can continue to put those misinformation, in my opinion, on their report, make you guys feel like they're doing something for Daniel when they don't have to. Legally, they would not be obligated to do anything for my son, as long as he's just a missing person and coming back for his things, as they gave me all his evidence, all his belongings marked for safekeeping. So they do that for a reason, and as long as they can keep it going that way, they don't have to spend money. They don't have to spend the thousands. Again, what y'all see on the GoFundMe, that's a stretch from 9 months of searching and utilizing money for 9 months. You got the case that they claim Daniel was able to get national attention. They spent on the murderer, the guy who was the murderer. They spent most of that money, $150,000 of that kind of money a day, looking for this guy, and they did that for a month. So you can imagine how much money they spent just looking for one guy. But you got a department that want to spend a dime on my son because they want to make sure it stays a missing person case, so they don't have to do so. So why, if it happened to you and your family, you'll understand my anger, my frustration, and things like that. So when I hear other people try to take up for that department, some form of fashion, we have a problem. I have a problem with you, and then I have a problem with them, because you know what? Like I said again, action speaks louder than words. There we go. Aaron Chase, thank you for coming out for the first time here on this Q&A. You guys, please hit that like, share, subscribe button if you're out here for the first time. They have the algorithm to reach more people like yourself. Have a lot of people who's regulars being here every morning. Every time I do a Q&A, they get to hear some of the same things. But you guys need to hear those too. That way you can learn more about my son's story, how he went missing. Some details. If you have questions, go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, learn more about the case. And also, if you have questions, that's why I'm here for a Q&A, to answer those questions. Mr. Rawson, will you be able to have forensics done on Daniel's car soon? It seems LE should have done it a long time ago. And I'm working on it. I'm working on it again. I'm working on the funding. It's about the funding. It's always about the money. And, this is a capitalistic society, and it's all about money. To get things done. And, I just don't have that type of money. But that's why I ask you guys, if you can, always constantly donate. I know y'all look at the GoFundMe and think, I don't know, some people assume that, the money just sits there in a bank somewhere. No, I'm constantly using money every day to keep this whole thing going, keep myself here, keep this searches going, keep, the flyers, whatever the case may be. Everything what I have been doing is all about finding my son. Even this getting the forensics work done is based on finding my son. So it's expensive. That vehicle process is expensive. I already got a cell phone being processed, being processed, and that's expensive. Just one item. If you guys look at items getting processed, it was hard for me to get a number of how much things it costs, until you actually get it done, going to these labs. But getting a full vehicle forensics done, it's going to be very expensive, because the things that have to be done, from the airbags to re-swab Buckeye claim, or get those, whatever they got, the information they got, and also getting fibers and you name it, getting forensic, get the paint transferred, taken care of. So it's a lot to that vehicle to be done. So it'd be a while, and they should have done it. Again, this is the picture, Aaron, of the scene. One of the pictures of many of the scene when they found my son's vehicle. Buckeye Police Department, when they came out, once the rancher found it, and this is the pictures from that. You don't see anything with forensics markings and things like that. I even have drone footage where none of that is done. And then I have a recorded meeting with them, where they say they haven't done any forensics work on the scene. So and you asked the question, yeah, it should have been done a long time ago. And that's just travesty. That's a bad part about what happened in my son's case. It's been very damaged by this department. And you know what? Yeah, so there you go. If you hit the like, share, and subscribe button, I really appreciate it. 12-Step Woman have a question. I'm getting down to the end of this Q&A. It's been 2 hours. I noticed my Q&A getting longer and longer. I have many things I need to do in the day. May I please help by being a mod for the David Robinson, sir. I mod for you knew, and John Q. Thank you. I would look into that. 12-Step Woman, I really appreciate you because you have been doing a lot. Make sure I get some things on cue. So I really appreciate it. I have a lot of moderators in this comment section, and another one wouldn't hurt either. So I really thank you for your help in that endeavor. Also, I'm not sure. I think you may be a content creator. I'm not sure, but thank you again for everything you do, for taking your time out to be here and help me in that endeavor. And things you put up there. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. I have Tara. Thank you for being here this morning. And if it's your first time, thank you for being here. And if you can hit that like, share, subscribe button, all of you that haven't done that so far, please do that to get this algorithm going, to get this out farther. Again, if you have a question, please put the word question first, followed by your question. And that would help me get this out farther and help the algorithm get it out. So get out to new people. I have a question here from Forever Curious. Thank you, Forever Curious, for being here. This is the first time I believe you've been here. I'm not sure, but thank you for being here this morning. Your question has Daniel's coworker reached out to you, Mr. Robinson? Well, the guy that was at the well site, the worker there, the only time I ever spoke to him was when I went to him and did my own questioning. Again, when I got here on the ground on the 26th, a few things was my first thing to do. Talk to the Buckeye Police Department, give them all the information I can give them to help them find my son. The second thing was to do my own investigation, and that was to go talk to this man, start off with the first person that said the last person that seen my son before he went missing. That guy that I've been hearing through the police department saying my son pretty much just waved off to him and just disappeared. It drove off the wrong direction into the desert. I had to definitely see him, look this man in the eye. You're going to tell me something about my son opposite of what I know about my son. So, no, he have never, ever reached out to me outside of that conversation I had with him, where I was able to get all the information I needed from him at the time that I know now, I'm working on right now. So, no, he haven't reached out. He haven't come out to any of the searches. This is the man that said he was very concerned about my son's been missing. He was very concerned to the point where he was walking and make sure he didn't disturb the tracks because police will come looking and that this thing's gonna become national. To the point he's walking, drove for a mile or so, almost 2 miles out, went through his gate or whatever, mile or so, went through his gate and went out another mile or so, and got out his vehicle, walk and get up on his hill and paint rocks red and up red with red paint and stuff. All this kind of work, saying he did in efforts to, he said he did in efforts to find my son at the time, but it didn't come out to any of the searches yet. So I don't know, when people's intentions in their heart, maybe he can't walk that far no more. So I don't know the case may be, but no, I don't hear anything back from him at all. So, and I'm not looking to. That's the investigator's job now, and at Buckeye, I know they haven't did nothing but question the guy. So, as far as I know, they have never ever taken him into the police department or anything. So, that type deal. So it ain't no big deal for them, but it's a big deal for me. Thank you for your question, Jazz Wrangler. Thank you for being here. I believe it's your first time, and thank you for being here on this Q&A. Question: any cities or street cameras that seek his car driving around, seen his car driving around since it seems like it was planted? And that's a question you ask because you know what? You just like me and just like my family. Hey, look, that's one of the questions that I think anybody would ask, because we know how many of us have seen cameras on each intersections, and they have these certain streets where they say, hey, look, you go through this intersection, you run that light, the camera flash and take your picture, or your license plate and everything else, your face, and you see smiling through your windshield or something, whatever the case may be. You have people who cameras that just, like I say, sit on these intersections, but sit on the regular streets. There's everywhere. The cameras everywhere. How many times you seen banks get robbed and they can trace the person down to which direction they went, or somebody did a drive-by shooting or anything. They somehow, Jack, he must have his cloak device on his vehicle. He scaled it. He's been here in Arizona almost 3 years, and somehow his vehicle has never been seen on any cameras around here in Arizona. Not in Phoenix, not in Tempe, not in Buckeye, not in Goodyear, not in, would you name it? Only time they ever got one footage, and you probably seen some of that one picture that wasn't very good of the license plate that they put up on their site when he went missing. I finally got them to put a bulletin out, and they took a picture that one time my son went to go see his sister in California, and they took a picture from the interstate out there. That way, so oh yeah, we found this picture in the database when he was driving. And that was a month prior to him going missing. So you're trying to tell me from the month prior to him going missing, all this time my son has escaped every camera in the world somehow. I mean, he must have been driving through people's yards and everything else, because he was not on the road and he didn't make it past any cameras at all whatsoever to get to that location. So that's the things I get from that department, and that's a question, like you said, we asked ourselves from day one. So that's a good question that you asked, and that's one that's reasonable, that I think anybody, any family member, anybody who have even a brain, you don't have to be an investigator to ask that question. Just have a brain, and you ask. That'll be one of the first questions you ask. Hey, what you see on camera? You know what I'm saying? And they don't have any of that. So if you guys have a question, please go ahead and put a big question mark there, or the word question there before you question, and that would help a lot. I really appreciate it. Thank you, 12-Step Woman, for putting that again as a moderator thing. I don't have access to. I do everything off of StreamYard, so I don't have the access to make a person a moderator from this thing here yet. But thank you so much for putting that up there. Keep the algorithm going. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Nikki, for being here. Thank you, Tara. I think I'm getting down to the bottom, getting close to the bottom, so that's a good thing. You guys have more questions, please put them up. Thank you for your question, Pamela. Were you able to get Daniel's map activities before his phone has died to see where he had been? That's the first thing, again, we asked for when my son first went missing. When we first got here as a family, we asked for ping locations. They can't get that. What made me very frustrated with this department? I mean, literally everything we asked for, they magically couldn't get. They couldn't get the ping data that showed, like you're saying, you asked a question there. They couldn't get the cameras that Tara asked on the other thing. They couldn't get the Uconnect, couldn't come up with zeros. I mean, like, how ironic is that? Like, everything, nothing working? Come on now. And they say no ping locations. What you were talking about, we was calling that phone. Of course, I'm going to be calling my son. First, I realized he's missing. The family, we calling his phone left and right. His phone been overloaded with calls because we was calling left and right. And that phone would ring, ring, ring for almost a full day, a little over a full day before I'm sure the battery died, and then it started going straight to voicemail. So if it was working out there in the desert, if it was out there in the desert, it was working. And that means it's a cell phone tower that near there, right? So why you can't get into cell phone pings and things like that? So they come with excuses. Oh, we can't get it because we can't get it. First it's we're gonna get the cell phone ping data. Then they come back, oh, we can't get it because we can't. This is not what a supervisor. Like I said, he's the same one that came along to say, no, we're not gonna send a helicopter out there because your son is grown man can leave. He's crashed that. Then he came. The detective said, hey, we're gonna get this cell phone ping data. Whatever, and he came back. No, we can't get it because it got to have a warrant. No judge would give us a warrant. But I'm like, okay, you can't get that. Uconnect. We told them first they called it OnStar. I said, no, we don't know OnStar. We have Uconnect. We can't get a Uconnect. First they told me, oh, we can't get a Uconnect, blah, blah, so on and so on. And then they said, oh yeah, we got the Uconnect. Then they changed the story. We got the Uconnect. We did the Uconnect. Went to Uconnect and we called them, and they saying that it came out all 0 grids or something, 0, no location. And only reason why that can happen is it means somebody must have took the battery loose or something, and that was sabotage to me. So that's not even criminal to them. You know what I'm saying? Like asking them questions, like, okay, if that happened, we need to look into that. No, that was nothing to prompt them on that either. So everything was convenient for them not to find. But thank you for your question. Thank you, Gina, for coming in for your question. Is it possible to have the flyers distributed via a post office? When you say distributed, I think you're asking about. Yes, I haven't seen it through. It was through FedEx, so maybe I think so. Yeah, post office. I can put them in a little box, and if you're saying it's like send it to people, yes, I can. But as in, oh, okay, I think I mean to get what you're saying. If I guess the same way they send out these junk mail or whatever you call it. You know, that's why I call it junk mail when it comes in the mail, and these things come in, these flyers type deals come in when they have a sale at Best Buy or something, or some grocery store. So I guess that's the point you're making. I haven't looked into that. That'd be a good thing. I'll talk to my team about that to see if we can figure something out there, look into that too. That's another way I haven't thought of. So see, that's why I'm glad for you. You know, I already know what you do in the background. So thank you so much, because you really into those flyers and how we get those flyers out. And I really appreciate what you do. Yeah, that's a good idea. I didn't think of that. But that's a good idea. One thing I have done, thought of, and I have to take a flight, is those airports. You know, if you guys can get these flyers, and the airport is the key. I take a big stack of flyers and I run down. I know people look at me like crazy, but I put those empty seats all around the terminal. Put those flyers in the seat, and also put some on the plane. When they get on the plane, and stick it in between those things that people don't really care about. Those things that tell you about, you know, what you do if something happened on the plane, that type deal, or some food item. That's what I really look for, the menu, and throw it in between those. So that type deal. So, you know, there's all kind of creative ways. So thank you for that suggestion. I'll look into that, and remind me in the background if you can. Aurora Snell, thank you so much for being here this morning on the YouTube, and it may be your first time here, so thank you. What is the reasoning Buckeye Police Department has given for not releasing the fingerprint results yet? They haven't given anything. They don't even talk to me. I don't know the reason why. You know, I don't know the reason why they even told me about the Waffle House having video footage that they have, and they give me still photos of the video. Now, who does that? You know, hey, we're gonna give you the footage we have from the Waffle House, and then when they give it to me, it's still photos. Like they took pictures of the video that they have of certain places they want me to see, and that's it. As a family member, father, and they hiding the rest of it for a reason, you know. And then they put in a report that he was sitting by himself and just lying, you know, saying, in my opinion. So that kind of stuff, and I have reason to say that. So the thing is, why I asked the question why a lot of things why they don't do and what they do. So, but in the fingerprinting itself, releasing the fingerprint results, I do not know, and that's why it's important for me to get my own stuff done here, and I'll be working on that. So, thank you for your question. Again, you got multiple ways you can help. If you guys can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and get those multiple ways you can help. I have a question here from Shiro's Nation. Do you have any theory as to why the gentleman lied about being a federal agent? Do I think it was to make people not look at him too closely? It could be all kind of reasons. I don't know why he would do that. What was in his mind? Shiro's Nation, thank you first of all for being here. You know, one thing that made me was suspicious of him is because, you know what, I'm out there looking for my son. This guy was brought to me by my last former search coordinator. I had a search coordinator before, search coordinator that worked with me to get the searches going. My first searches when I first started. And Mr. Short, he came along. Mr. Short came along as a logistics coordinator. And then when he left, Mr. Short had to take on both roles. But that guy, he the one brought this man to me doing a search. And he introduced himself as a federal law enforcement agent. And, you know, I can't call the man a liar, but at the time I wasn't really sure. I was feeling kind of way about it. So I kind of dismissed him off to going to my investigator at that time and let him handle that. That's his job to vet this guy and to find out his truthfulness or whatever he had to say to me. He did mention that he went out to reach out to the Buckeye Police Department. The Buckeye Police Department was ignoring him, didn't talk to him, so that's the reason why he came to reach out to me. So he did talk to my investigator at the time, also with that a former search coordinator, and those two came to me and told me that he was vetted. They checked the story out, it lined up. He is a federal. Even you probably can hear it even in my family press conference that I have posted, listed up there on YouTube and everywhere. My former investigator was correcting me. He helped me. He said, "Hey, he's a federal law enforcement agent." I look at him to make sure I'm correct. That's what the guy said he is. And I repeated those things. I believe he was. I was believed on based on my investigator told me, and also the other guy, and also him telling me that. So, and this guy even fleshed the badge. So, I did get an indication that he could have been a fraud from a company out of California. Some investigators that came out of California helped me out one weekend to say his badge is fake and this and that, and and that was the first indication. I wasn't sure what they were talking about at the time, but later on, to make a long story with that, during the Christmas break, it did come out that he had some other things going on in his life. He wasn't a federal law enforcement agent, but that made me question his whole entire story. At that point. But I can tell you, in January, I think it was January or February this year, I invited the Buckeye Police Department out to my searches. They came out. I talked to Lieutenant Angel and Detective Biffin. Detective Biffin told me, I asked him about the guy because they did do an interview with the guy, and they say they corroborate his story. His story, they say they have no reason to believe his story is false. I said, what about this federal agent? He said, well, he said he didn't never say anything about being a federal agent and whatever the case may be. But that's a lie because he did tell me. We had on several occasions he said that. Amen. In his text messages. So the whole point is, his story, according to the Buckeye Police Department and also my former investigator, his story fans out, but as in him being a law enforcement agent, no. So, I still have my skepticism on that. So that's why you don't hear me actually talk about this guy, because I had to throw his story out on my behalf, kind of out of the equation somewhat for now until I get it fully vetted from my new investigator and things like that. So right now, I don't know what to trust when it comes to this gentleman. So not calling him a liar and things like that. Other than that, I do know he was lying about being a federal law enforcement agent, because he's not. So thank you again for your question, Cheryl. I know it's been long, but that's the answer to that. Like, share, subscribe to this channel if you can. Help me get this channel out a lot farther. I'm still going on this Q&A. Fire Mama 411, thank you for being here this morning. Have you fill out a FOIA with the police department to get any files on this case? What is the radius and of the search from crash site, and what direction is sent from the car to tree? And that's what I'm not asking. I didn't ask for it for a reason. I have a reason for it not to ask for it just yet. This department putting a lot of things in this reports they have, and they backtracking on a lot of things. Y'all got to mind you, I have the original report. I have what they called at the time a final report they give me when they was giving me my son's things. They gave me a final report. They even came on their Facebook page and said they had no more leads to follow. They told my investigator in his face that they had no investigation. That's why they gave him the black data on the data crash report. That's how he got his data. So all of that was the end of my son's case until I was keep going. I kept going, and it became national, and it became all this detention. Then all of a sudden they have an investigation. But how you have an investigation, you don't have none of this. So I just let them put all the stuff in this great and keep changing and doing all this in their report. And then when the time comes, once I see all that stuff, the information, then we can put all that together. So it's called timing. Fire Mama at 411. It's timing. It's a timing thing when I would get those kind of those things done. So thank you. I have a question here from Monica Jackson Brown. Thank you for being here off of Facebook. And I believe this is your first time. You hit the like, share, subscribe. Thank you for being here. And I thank everybody who have done that to make it possible for Monique to be here to see this channel. So I'm really grateful. Yes, my son has been missing since June 23rd out there in that Buckeye Desert. He's a geologist doing what he loves. And at the time he was 24, he's 25 now. He's had a birthday in January. And, I'm still out here looking for him. So thank you for being here this morning. The question is, how invested is Daniel's employer to help find him? This company, like I said, from day one, and I had a discussion with the owner of my disappointment. My disappointment is them having the resources because it's a company. They have several. They're big. They're a small company, but a big company. So they have the resources and the money to go out there and look for their employee, and they haven't done that. Out there in that desert, they waited till I started my own searches. And like I said, I don't know if it's a company mandate. I don't know if the boss said, "Hey, you employees, I'm paying you. You would be going out here and do the searches," or they come out to the father's search, or they coworkers got together and say, "Hey, oh my gosh, Daniel, he's our friend. We know him. Whatever the case may be, we're gonna come out to the searches to help this father." So I just know that they only investment they have is those workers coming out. Anything else, not much at all. Anything like that invested in it, from the company itself. So, well, that's some things they have to think on themselves and the reasons why and things like that. So I don't know, but what the thing is, his Daniel's, like, again, his boss, his direct supervisor, he comes out to the searches to help me out in the searches, man the gate, go do some line searches and things like that. So he and his wife used to come out. She don't come out much more, but he do come out at times. Not every weekend that we have searches, but he do come out at times. As the other ones that used to come out when I first started my searches, they have fell away a long time ago. But the company itself, hear little or nothing from that company to date. I'm sure at this point they legally looking out for themselves and things like that. So our relationship is what it is. I do have a meeting that I will be having with that company eventually. So pretty soon here, and I've been working on it for a little while now, and we'll have that meeting going, and I have some questions then. So thank you so much for your question. All right, I have a question here from Audra Snell. Were the owners of the company Daniel worked for your family friends? Are they anxious to get the thing Daniel was working on back in their possession? Were the owners of the company Daniel worked for your family friends? Only friend deal with that company is Daniel and the owners. Their son, Daniel and the son, they went to college together. They're friends. Daniel is friends with the owner's son, and they went to college together as friends in college. They were both in the fraternity together and things like that. So, so they're friends. But as in family, no, we're not friends with the company. I'm not enemies with them either. But it's that we're not direct friends and we hang out and things like that. No. I say, are you anxious things Daniel was working on? Okay. Well, some things they have been asking for when this vehicle first was discovered. So they was asking for a lot of things. Again, I had directed my investigator at the time, my private investigator, not to turn over anything. And to this date, I have never given that okay to do so, because there is an investigation going on my part. And so I suspect that everything that I do know is in that vehicle from inventory wise that I do know from the beginning, and also from pictures that I have of things that you guys don't have of inside the vehicle was there. It should still be there to this date. So once my investigator get down here, he would look into that vehicle, and hopefully I get to see some stuff too to make sure to verify nothing had been taken away from that vehicle. So it shouldn't have. Legally, it shouldn't have been taken out of there. So thank you for your question. All right. And I wish I can pronounce that, but sports. Carlite, thank you for being here this morning with your question. Why is the FBI hesitant to getting involved when human remains were found by your search team? Good question. And not only that, it's been some human remains are found on federal land. So some of that, I'm sure, was on federal land. So, I don't know. That's a good question. I did reach out to the FBI again on yesterday, and so I'm waiting some answers from that. But you know what? That is a good question, and I think I would like to hear what was told to them in that case briefing by Chief Hall. Of them being invited. I'm sure it was nothing in my favor to try to make sure they came into this case. That's the reason why they didn't allow me or want me to be a part to hear what they had to say. In my opinion, that's the reason why they made sure I wasn't there. I'm sure they gave the kind of case briefing to the FBI that they want to give. They give them the impression that they're doing so much stuff and they're doing such a great job or they did it in a way that we're sure that the FBI will refuse to want to come in and things like that. So I'm sure that they happen in that way. So again, guys, thank you for your question. Again, if you guys want to help out, you can also join us in our fasting and prayer. That would be on April the 20th on a Wednesday. I believe in fasting and I believe in prayer. I need those answers, and I'm asking God and I'm petitioning God for those. Thank you so much. Thank you so much in advance for doing so. You did so the last time we had the fasting and prayer. I've seen some things happening. Also, fasting and prayer is not going to hurt anybody. Whether you believe and you have faith in that kind of thing or not, it's not going to help you. It's only hurt. It don't hurt you. It help you in all kind of areas of your life. You know what I'm saying? And also, it's something we're doing together as people. So joining unity and doing something together in a positive manner. So it always helps in all kind of ways. So I'm a believer in prayer and I'm believing in fasting. So I do know some things only come by fasting and prayer. So we have to have that. So again, and thank you, Fire Mama 11, for your comment. So I think I'm running down to all the questions going. I'm strolling down really quickly. If I miss your questions this time, I apologize. I can get them the next time. Thank you, LL, for being here. First time I've seen you on here. Thank you for coming out. You guys can hit that like, share, subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Dragon Lady, for being here. Dragonfly Lady for being here. You can hit that like, share, subscribe button. Saying I really appreciate it if you can. I do have one question. I don't know, somebody pointed up to a question. I must have missed it. And if I miss your question again, if I don't get it this time, I get it next time. Or if you can catch me before I leave, you can try to put it up there again. I have a question from Aaron. Can you do the forensics piecemeal style? I think the driver's area and steering wheel are paramount in steering you in the right direction. I'm sorry, LE has failed, Daniel. Sending you love. Thank you. Yes, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing one item at a time. And once I get the funding going, that'd be a very good idea to see if it's possible for a lab to take the entire vehicle or come in and do, like I say, little small areas at a time. And work it that way. So there's all kind of options I need to look at when it comes to that. But that's all depending on my investigator. That's his job to actually send that stuff. I had to provide the money. He provide the ability to do it. I can't turn these things over to the lab myself. You got to be through my attorney or through, like I said, the investigator. So I will talk to him and see, the best approach for that and see if they can do it that way without taking the entire vehicle at one time. So I'm not sure how that works, but as in for the phone itself, they just take the whole phone, and that's very expensive too. So this one item at a time is very expensive. I do have a question from LL. Thank you for being here again. Has Daniel Company offered to help pay for the search in any way? No, they have not offered any way to pay, and so they're asking to help though. I mean, they do say things like, "Hey, we can help you. We like to help in any kind of way." Well, that's Daniel's boss, so I'm not sure the company at large. I did get an offer from the owner to have he's offering up some workspace at the time when I first had a meeting with him. Hey, look, you can have the section of this office to run your everything I'm doing here. Please help find Daniel things. So he wanted to offer off space. I was really grateful, and I'm really grateful for that offer, but that was too close comfort for me to be doing that. I separate family and job situation at the time. Of course, I have my own investigation. And with that investigation, I'm not saying the company have anything to do with anything, but it wouldn't be proper for me to do that. So I was able to, had to go to that point and really just not be doing that. So thank you again. If you all just coming in for the first time, please hit that like, share, subscribe. Thank you all that's working, the moderators in the chat, giving out information. Also, thank you 12-Step Woman for all the hard work you've been doing. And all, like I say, the moderators that's here. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Thank you. Let me see if I missed any questions. I apologize. Going down really quickly here to get to the end of this Q&A. It's been 2 hours and 25 minutes. Forever curious. These like interest. Okay, I like to produce art inspired by Daniel. Perhaps the art and exhibition could be a way to work with. Well, thank you for that. And if you have any suggestions and things like that, and you want to help, go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, and you can go help in other ways tab, and you can put your skill sets there. And then at the same time, you want to talk to me about that now. The number right there that you can reach me is on the bottom of the screen, and you can reach me there and discuss and say, hey, I'm forever curious. I was talking to you this morning about, and put that down in that text message. People know who do text me. They probably get frustrated. I hope not. Sometimes it takes me a while to get to your messages. I have a lot of them. I had to squeeze in, get into text messages. Sometimes I'd even do voice testing because it's easier than texting, when I'm in a bit of the multitasking. So you get a response, is what I'm saying. You get a response to that, and we can talk about that behind the scenes. So thanks so much for that, for what you just gave out here. Thank you, Dragonfly Lady, for your question. How can the public help put pressure on the Buckeye Police Department? Also, will any news media be live streaming or doing an interview at the next council meeting to bring attention to Dane's case? Well, I don't know. I can reach out to my local news connects that I have and see what they think about that, and let them know, hey, look, I'm putting in to say a little something, and maybe they want to show up just to hear me say. I think it's only 2 or 3 minutes they give you allowed to even speak to this council. So, I had to have very great choice words, and I'll be working on that. So, but the thing is, that may be a possibility that they may want to come out. The way you can put pressure on that department is to do exactly what I was saying before. I don't want them handling my son's case any longer. They need to be pressured to move this case over to a department that actually willing and able to do something. So on the bottom of the screen, that's the number there. Your demands can go there. And, the person that you can respond to, his name is Chief Larry Hall. So you guys, you want to express that sentiment, what you're saying, how you can put pressure on that department. The pressure I need to them is to let go of my son's case. And when I said not let it go, as in to move it to a authority that would actually do something that can help me find out what happened to my son. I don't have any confidence in them doing it themselves. So, definitely need somebody outside. We need the FBI, and that's what I'm pushing. FBI, Attorney General's office, somebody to come in and look into my son's case. Aaron Chase, is there any way to get in touch with the man who was at the well site with him that morning? I'm sure it is. I mean, I have a number. My investigator have the number. There's a lot of ways to get in contact with him, but I don't ask the general public to do so. That's not what investigating is about. I wouldn't even put that information out there. So if you guys got any information on your own, I have nothing to do with that. I don't put anybody's information out other than the Buckeye Police Department. And, they're a public entity. So, of course I can do so. But when it comes to anybody in this report or any involvement in this case, no, I would not put their info out. But I do know those infos. And like I said, it's my investigator's job to be able to talk to these people. This is also the Buckeye Police Department's job, and whoever else who want to be involved in this case, an authority position of law or whatever. Yeah, it's their job to do that. So thank you for your question. Yes. But again, I don't encourage anybody to talk to anybody outside of Buckeye Police Department, my investigator or myself, about this case. So thank you. More thing y'all can do for me right now is, like I said, is ask the Buckeye Police Department to move this case over to the FBI. Question from Angel. Thank you, Angel, for being here this morning. Do you have any? Did he have an Android phone? Yes. Do we have access to his Google account? Yes. Now I do. Google tracks everything that you go on Google Maps, and they do, and that's the reason why I have some the information I have. I can tell you when I first got that phone, all that stuff was stripped out of that phone for whatever reason, and I was able to get most of it back. So, but that phone is being forensically tested for other things. So, make a long story short, I'm sure I get more information from that phone. But I do have that. So thank you so much. And I do have the FBI. If you guys want to call the FBI and demand them to come and look into my son's case, thank you, Sophia. And that's the main key. See, that's why I love my A team, because you guys, boy, I tell you what, thank you so much for that. And please, you guys, that's one way you can help. That's the number right there. I should put that on the, I will start putting that on my banners that goes down the bottom, and that's how you get in contact with them. I did contact them on yesterday, so have some more. I try to contact if I can, and try to see if I can get these people involved in my son's case. And sometimes it may take the public to demand these things. So this is a direct number to the Washington D.C. Thank you, Shauna, for the A team. My A team showing up. Thank you all for coming in the chat and really showing up and helping me out. I know I'm probably talking long, and I've been on it for 2 hours. I know you guys probably left me all kind of messages, and I will be responding to your messages once I get off this Q&A. So I know we got some things I need to be doing in a day, and I hope I'm not behind. I need to look at my calendar, see what I got going. But you know what? Thank you so much for putting that information out there. You guys, if you guys can copy that down, those are the numbers that you can reach out. I think I'm not sure if you putting this number here is the 800 number is the one here in Arizona, but I do know that one there that Shauna have here is in the DC, the main office, I'm sure. And the main office, because on Pennsylvania Avenue, all the main offices on Pennsylvania Avenue, even the treasurer, the mint, and all that kind of stuff. So thank you for putting that information out there, and I will later get that information from you, Shauna. If you could text it to me, just go ahead and text it to me if you can, and I will put it up here on this on the bottom of the screen for now on. So I really appreciate you putting that up there. Yes, again, you guys can hit that like, share, and subscribe button that would put this channel out there. My whole goal is to make sure that my son's stories get out there as far as it can. It can't stay here. It can't stay here in this Q&A. It can't stay here on this YouTube channel. I have this YouTube channel solely to bring out my son's case. I can't rely on media, the news channels, to you name it. All my efforts out there, I do a whole lot of stuff. My efforts is to get my son's story out there. My efforts out there to search out there on the desert on the Saturdays, much as I can now. I had to cut them down to every 2 weeks now, once every 2 weeks. I want to get them back up there every week, and I need to get those. We're gonna talk about that. Me and Mr. Short gonna talk about that on Friday. What happened, for instance, last Saturday. Reason why we need those razors back out there again. I was spending about between three to even up to $6,000 a week when I was first starting my searches out there, trying to make sure I had those razors and things out there. Depending on how many razors and quads I had to rent out. But I was spending a lot of money out there trying to get those razors going, keep them out there in the searches. But one thing, we need at least one of them, because we'll talk about that Friday. And some of the volunteers know the importance of having some of those equipments out there. But, I had to cut my searches down because of those. First, I had to stop renting out the razors that I need really bad, and the quads. And then I had to, now I'm down to a point where I had to cut the searches down to once every 2 weeks. So I'm really looking forward to getting those things back up, and we need to get it going. But please hit a like, share, subscribe button. That would help me get this the story out. And I'm here just doing it. I'm not just doing searches out there in the desert, like I said, doing flyer distribution for awareness, and also the YouTube channel to do the same thing. And I need you guys to help me spread the words. Tell somebody. Word of mouth is very important. Sue M, the question is, after being out in February, I wonder if the canal been searched. If there are areas where the canal traps were cleaned out. Also, was there any digging from where the cadaver dogs hit? No, we didn't see any digging where the cadaver dogs hit, but there was some trees where some human deceased person was there, because, like I said, 3 different times cadaver dogs alerted on the same tree, different dogs. So same trees, same area. So the thing is, as in the canal itself being searched, that canal has fencing around it, and I know, just looking at it, there's no breaks in the fences, and also, I wouldn't see a reason why my son, undressed, would be climbing a fence, a barbed wire fence at that, and make it on the other side to get in that canal. I don't know, but I don't know how you even get access to the canal. Is very protected, so that's a drinking water and a source and things like that. So that canal is very protected. But I didn't get anything feedback on anything from authorities that would say that something was in that canal or they found something. So I hope, they do search that. Hope they search that canal, but that's something I won't be able to search myself. But that do need to be searched, as in, because they did find things in the past on certain canals here running through Arizona where they did find human remains and things like that. So anything possible. Roxanne Bailey, thank you for your question on Facebook. Could you perhaps reach out to national chapter of his fraternity to see if they can help get his missing post out, help get wider circulation? And I have somebody in my team, and someone outside a team was looking into that. My son, he was a founder of the fraternity that he's a part of, and that he's a part of. And that's one area that need to be more explored. The college, I would love the alumni to help in this endeavor with everything I'm doing here in Arizona. So thank you for your question. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I know it's saying over and over again, but it's very important. If you guys can do so, I'm pushing down, trying to get all the way down to the end of this Q&A. Again, I really appreciate every last one of you coming out, and I ran out of questions here. So I'm really grateful that you guys came out and joined me in this Q&A. It's a rough road, and I just want you guys to always know that I'm doing everything I can as a father. I think any one of you all would be doing the same thing for your child, your family member, or whoever. I need you all to pray for me and my family. Pray for other families that are going through the same thing. There's a lot of families going through hurt and pain right now, and it's not a joke. I think some may not understand, and some do. I mean, you all have to understand. You hear this Q&A, you don't have a missing person, but you have a lot of empathy and you have a lot of love. And I really appreciate each and every last one of you that have been a part of my journey and my family's journey in finding my son. So, I'm the only one here on the ground, represent my whole entire family, and I'm pushing. Daniel is my son. I'm his father, and he only have one, and that's me. And I'm here to do what I do, and I'm here to make sure that my son get all the justice and everything he deserves, and he will be found. As long as I have people like yourselves behind me, all the way, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. You guys are doing everything. I really love you guys for it, and I love you from the bottom of my heart. Everything that you've been doing from this point on to help me. I have an A-team that I love too. Gwen, love to everybody who's really pushing really hard to make sure that Daniel's story is out there. Make sure the foundation is getting put up. Make sure that it's everything. So thank you again for coming out to support. Again. Just thank you all. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for just everything you're doing. thank you again for the Q&A. I know we have the redundancy going on the Q&A, and sometimes it's hard to talk about. You can't talk about nothing else. Just about my son. So I'm really grateful that you guys taking time to bear in here with me. Thank you. God bless you. And I will be going. I had some work to do. I know I'm way behind. I have some things that need to be taken care of today, and I'm gonna get busy doing that. And I'll be back on Friday. The Q&As, I decided maybe I should do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But you will have some other kind of streams coming in for all the information. But for now, that's all I have until Friday. Hope y'all come in Friday morning. I have, like I said, Mr. Short coming in. We'll be talking about the searches that we're coming on the 16th. So if you guys can come to that and learn more about the searches and what we do, that'll be helpful. God bless you. I love you again. And thank you for all your questions.